So nothing compares to that feeling of satisfaction when you have impressed your client with your presentation, when your idea has come to life and your client's mind is blown away.
Oh my God! Wow!
But what is next? How can you turn this your presentation to a concise construction document that can be used on site, that architects, engineers, and builders can understand and interpret to be able to execute your project? Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Henry. They also call me Architect Piper. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through a step-by-step tutorials on how to create and manage your own architectural working drawing using Autodesk Revit. With this skill you are going to get from this video, it's going to enable you to transform your creative concepts into reality. So why is this tutorial going to change your workflow? Well, I'm going to tell you that right now. If you've ever struggled with messy drawings, missing details, and confusing plans, don't skip this video. This video is the best thing that will happen to you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to organize your sheets and your views so that once you organize it properly, any stakeholder in the building industry that comes across your drawing will be able to understand it and interpret it and use it to execute your project on site properly without the need of calling you back for questions and gibberish. Okay, so I'm also going to be sharing insider tips and tricks and also files to help you improve your speed in architectural working drawing so you can do it in a shorter time using Autodesk Revit. So what are you going to learn from this video? Firstly, you are going to learn how to create and efficiently manage working drawings in Autodesk Revit. Also, you are going to learn the best practices for annotation, specification, and dimensioning in Autodesk Revit. You're also going to be learning how to organize your sheets professionally. Okay, so finally, you are going to learn how to export and print your architectural working drawing from Autodesk Revit so you can be able to carry it to site and execute your desired project. Okay, so it's also important to note that the standards I'm going to be teaching you is based on my own jurisdiction and organization. Okay, you can alter them slightly or moderately depending on your organization or the requirements needed, so it will give you some flexibility. So the most important thing is to just understand the basic principles. So with those basic principles, depending on the situation you find yourself in, you can always alter it and adjust some things just to fit those needs. I'm also going to be dropping a practice file and the template file for absolute free, so just go to the description below, click on the link and you download it, then extract it before you start the tutorial video, because I gave you a file so you can use the file to follow it. If you want to use your own file to follow it, fine and good. I also kept a working drawing template file so it can help you and make your work faster. Okay, so thank me later. And very importantly, show us some love by subscribing to the channel, share this video with your friends, hit the notification bell to get notified, and with that out of the way, let's take your working drawing to the next level. So catch you in the video. For this working drawing tutorials, we are going to be using this file. So I want to get some things out of the way before we delve in properly into this full course. Firstly, I'm going to be stating some requirements before we go together into this course. The first requirement is I believe that everybody coming to this working drawing tutorial course should have enough skills in Revit to be able to model their desired building up to a relative extent to what you are seeing on the screen now. So it means if you haven't done so, you can go and check out my playlist of Revit tutorial courses, full course video where I covered how to model Revit projects from start to finish for beginners in Autodesk Revit. So that out of the way. And also you need to have a file that I've modeled completely to follow this tutorial. If you don't have a file, I have something to help. So I dropped this exact file you're seeing on the screen, this starter Revit file. I dropped it, the link will be in the description below. I dropped it along with a working drawing template file, so you can get those two files together. They will be fused together, not really fused together, they will be grouped together, so you need to just extract them, then you can access them. So with the two files, you'll be able to use the one as a practice file, then you can use the other one as a template file, so you'll be able to follow these tutorials very well. Okay, with that out of the way, we are going to start the main tutorial. So as usual, we are going to be using this file. As I said before, you remember I told you can get the file from the link in the description below, so just check it out and get the file. So and join us back. Let's start. So you can see this file here. This file is just a simple, I won't call it a duplex, but it's just a story building. I feel is appropriate for a full working drawing. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to be working on is we're going to start by defining what architectural working drawing is, or architectural construction drawing. So in architectural design, it involves several stages. So construction documentation is one of the final stages of a design process. So this is when you and your client has agreed on a specific design or a set of design decisions and is ready to go forward with your proposal. You are now going to provide a document that has enough information on that drawing to be able to replicate it in real life. So this is what construction drawings are. Okay. So in the construction drawing, they have the architectural, structural, mechanical, and electrical. In this video, I'm going to be covering mainly the architectural. So the first thing we're going to be doing now is we're going to be opening our template file. So remember I told you you have access to this template file. Just check the description. You're going to see the link to get it for free. So we're just going to click on file. You're going to open the template file just like this. Click on open. Search for where you keep the template file depending on where you kept it after you downloaded it. Then just click on this template file and click on open. Okay, so you can see this template file is a working drawing I've done previously. So what you are going to do here is we're going to transfer some things from this template file to this main one we are working on. So you can see once you open multiple files in Revit, you are going to see these tabs appearing on this panel here, just like the way you have tabs on your browser. So it will be easy for you to navigate back and forth from two different files. So after doing this, we're now going to first transfer the sheet first. So to do this, we're just simply going to go over to this project browser, look for any sheet here and just simply double click it. So after double clicking it, we're going to click on loading in place and we're going to load it into the working drawing tutorial. So we're going to click on no, override, and we are going to load it in. So now by default, if you are working on the Revit default template, it has some sheets automatically. So we are not going to be working with this sheet. I'm just going to click on one, hold shift, select the last one and delete all of them. So we're going to be creating our sheets afresh. So I'm going to click on right click, I'm going to click on new, and I'm going to click on select this A3 tutorial. That was the name of the sheet I loaded into this file we're working on. Then I'm going to click on OK. So I'm going to right click and click on rename, and we're going to start naming, numbering, and naming this sheet appropriately. So the first sheet we're going to start with is the A00. We're going to number it A000, which is architectural 000, and we're going to call this the cover page. Everything, make sure you turn up your caps lock for everything. So after giving it this name as the cover page, we're going to right click, click on new sheet, make sure we select this A3 tutorial sheet, click on OK. Then I'm going to right click and I'm going to rename this second sheet as A001, and I'm just going to call this sheet list, or I'm going to call this general guidelines or general notes. So after calling this general notes, we're now going to right click, click on new sheet, and I'm going to click on OK. So this new sheet now A002 is now going to be called the sheet list. So this is where the numbers of the sheets is going to appear in. Okay, then the next sheet we are going to be creating is going to be called the site plan. That is A003. So we're just going to, so if you didn't figure out how I was just creating the sheet, I'm just going to hit Ctrl Z. So let me redo it again. I'll hover around this sheet in this project browser. As you can see, right click, click on new sheet, then click OK. So I'm just going to right click, click on rename, and call this the site plan. So after we have created a sheet for the fly plan, we're going to click on new sheet again. I'm going to click on OK. Then the next sheet we're going to be creating, I'm going to click on rename. The next sheet we're going to be creating is we're going to be creating the ground floor plan. But the ground floor plan, in order to convey enough information, I usually divide the ground floor sheets into 5 different sheets showing distinct information that are equally as important. So I'm going to start from the first one. I'm going to call this ground floor dimension plan. So you see what I did? After naming ground floor, I clicked on space, put hyphen, click on another space, and just write dimension. Then I'll click OK. I'm going to right click again, click on new sheet, click on OK. Then I'm going to right click here, click on rename, and call this ground floor space hyphen space, and I'm going to call this ground floor furniture plan. With it out of the way, we're going to go to the next one. The next one is now going to be the floor finishes. So we're going to rename this as ground floor finishes. Then I'm going to right click, select the sheet again, right click, click on new sheet. Then I'm going to right click, click on rename and call this ground floor plate. Okay, so when we get to it, you are going to know exactly what the floor plate is used for. Okay, so in order to see our names properly, I'm going to click and hold, left click and hold and drag this project browser edge here. So I'm going to see the names well as we are creating them. So I'm going to click on right click. I'm going to click on new sheet, click on OK. Then I'm just going to call this ground floor RCP space RCP. So RCP stands for reflected ceiling plan. So this is where you are going to design the light fixtures you want to design and all those stuff. So we are going to click OK. So now the final ground floor variant is now going to be the ground floor axonometric view. So as this sounds, this is a 3D, three-dimensional view showing the ground floor in its three-dimensional format. And I'm going to show you how to create it in Autodesk Revit. So let's name it ground floor axonometric view. Then I'm going to click on OK. So now we have named all the ground floor plans. We have created all the ground floor. We're just going to replicate the same process for the first floor. We're now going to create the roof plan. Okay, so we're just going to right click, click on rename, and we're just going to call this roof plan. So now we have created the roof plan. I'm going to right click, click on new sheet, click on OK. Then I'm now going to right click, click on rename. Then I'm now going to be creating the first section. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be only creating one section. So I'm going to call this section AA and I'm going to click on OK. But depending on the complexity of the project, you can even have up to 4, 5, 6 sections. Okay. So these sections are meant to display cross-sectional information of the project. So it depends on the project. So don't say because I'm doing one section that every project you come across, you must do one section. So I'm going to click on right click, click on new sheet again, click on OK. Then I'm now going to be calling this next sheet. I'm going to be calling it the elevation sheets. Okay. So in these elevations, I'm going to give you the format of arrangement of the names that is going to be easier for you to go in line with how Revit usually arranges the elevation. So we're going to start from 01 and we're going to be calling this the right side view. Right-side view. Okay, so the reason why I use right side view, left view, front and back view is because in real life projects, you don't have projects that most times your projects are not perfectly facing the north. So saying something like north elevation isn't going to be the most accurate name to give them, especially when the project is maybe on a slanted side. So I usually go with this right side view. I'm going to right click, click on new sheet, click on OK. I'm going to right click, click on rename. Then I'm just going to call this 02 space rear. Okay, so you are going to see how these names are going to key in perfectly with Autodesk Revit default template. So I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to click on new sheet again, right click new sheet, click on OK. Then I'm going to right click again, rename, and I'm now going to call this 03 hyphen and click on space, and I'm going to call this approach view. Then I'm going to click OK. So I'm going to do the same for the final sheet, and I'm going to be calling this 04 left side and click OK. So we have our 4 elevations. So what next after the elevation? After elevation, we're now going to be creating the schedules. So I'm going to click on right click, click on new sheet, click on OK. So I'm now going to click on right click and I'm going to click rename, and I'm going to be calling this 01 door schedule. Okay, so the next schedule we're going to be now creating is the window schedule. So I'm going to call this 02 window schedule. I'm going to click on OK. Then I'm going to call this right click again, click on new sheet, click OK, and I'm going to call this third one the curtain wall schedule. So after giving them all these names, the final sheet we are now going to be creating is some detail sheets. So depending on the complexity of the project, your details can vary from 1 sheet to 10 sheets showing different details. Okay, so but this project I kept it minute, so we'll not waste too much time on these tutorials. The whole concept of this tutorial is to just explain the principles. Okay, so it will guide you when you even go and face bigger project. So I'm going to right click on rename, and I'm going to be creating this new sheet. Then I'm just going to rename it as, we are going to do a staircase details, and I'm going to click OK. So now this is done. I think we have done a good job. So we're just going to hit Ctrl S to save our project, because now this is an important phase of your working drawing. You have organized your sheet list and you have saved all your sheets, which is very important moving forward. So now we have arranged all the sheets. We are going to start working on the site plan. So for the site plan, we are going to start by going to under this project browser, under this floor plan site plan. It usually comes after floor plans, architectural plans. You just see it here and click on this site. So you are going to see this default site plan. So if you don't know how I reached this point, like I used to, I'm saying it again and again, go and check out my full Revit tutorial course, so you know how to model easily in Revit. Trust me, it's not that difficult. So I'm just going to right click here, and I'm going to click on rename. Then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click on duplicate view. Hover around the duplicate view, don't click on it here, and hit duplicate with detailing. Then I'm just going to right click on rename, and I'm just going to call this 00 site plan. Okay, so now we have named this site plan. The next thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be dragging it to our sheet, because that is the first thing you should do for every plan view. So the reason why you do this is, if you don't do this, you might be working out of scale. You might be working on a scale that won't be able to enter the sheet completely, and you might not even know. So it's always good, once you go over to your sheet and double click on your empty sheet, you go back to this where you have your view. Like you can see this site plan under this project browser. Left click and hold, then drag it into this view. So you can see from the main site actually fits in. So what we are now going to do is some cropping work. Okay, so I'm just going to double click on this view to access this view from this sheet. So if you double click outside the sheet view, for example, you can see this sheet independent on its own. Okay, so you can also see this view I dragged in. You can move it independently. But if I want to work on this view while I'm still looking at this sheet, I can just, once I click on it, I just double click on it again. You are going to see I'm going to be able to work on the view. So first thing to do is we're going to hide some things we don't need to be visible in this site plan view. So we're going to start with this scope box. This right click, hide in view by category. We're going to go to this reference planes here. Click on tab, select one, right click, hide in view by category. Then we're going to go to this elevation viewpoint. We're going to click on this floor here. Okay, and click HH. HH means temporary height. The reason why I hit the floor is so I'll not be having issues selecting this elevation viewpoint. So I'm just going to left click and select everything here. It's important to select it like this. Left click, hold, and select everything. Then I'm going to right click and hide in view by category. So after doing this now, I'm going to click on HR to unhide that floor. Then I'm going to click on this crop region here, and I'm going to crop this to this point here. Okay, let me crop it here, crop this here as well, crop this here as well, and crop this here. Okay, then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to click on this hide crop region, so it's not going to be visible. Okay, so now it's off. I'm now going to double click outside the view again and try and centralize it, or just push it to this side, because we're going to add some legend here. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to drag this to this point here, and I'm just going to click on this and adjust this here. Okay, so now this is when we're now going to go into the next stage of this site plan. So we're now going to double click inside, and we're going to start editing the graphics. Okay, so this site plan, normally site plan is not meant to be too colorful. The main purpose of your working drawing is to show information as much as possible. So we will need to tone down the way we're adding all this greenery. So hatches like this one now is fine, and this green hatch, I don't think it should be colored. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit the graphics parameters of each of these model components. So we're going to select these floors, for instance, click on edit type, click on edit structure, click on this edit material. Then we're going to change this background to none. Click on this and change this to none, and click OK. Or another way you can work on it is just, even though I don't suggest that. So this green area, we're going to do the same thing. Click on edit type, click on edit, click on this material, go over to this sand dense, leave it here, click on this solid fill pattern, change it to none so it's not going to have that background green color. Then click on this color and maybe change the hue to a bit green. So I'm going to move this green to this point first, then I'm just going to make it from black to dark gray. You can see where I clicked, so I moved the color to green first, then adjusted this here and I click OK. Then I'm going to click on apply and I'm going to click OK, click OK, click OK. Then for this one, I'm going to right click on it, click on edit type again, click on edit boundary, click on edit material. Then I'm just going to click on this solid fill pattern and change it back to none and click OK. So if you notice why most of these floors have colors like this is because I originally created a presentation plan with it, but this working drawing, we don't need to be too colorful. We are just trying to show information as much as possible. So I'm going to select this. So I'm going to click on edit type. I'm going to click on edit, click on this material, click on this pattern and change it to none and click apply, OK, OK, apply, OK. So after doing this, I think we have a clearer view of this site plan. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is we're going to hide all these grid lines. We don't need grid lines in site plan. So I'm going to click on tab, select this grid line, right click, hide in view by category. Okay. So now we can also delete these redundant lines. They are not doing anything. So now if you notice on this site plan, what we are seeing now is the roof of the building, meaning the site plan view range cut at a very high point. What I mean by view range, if you notice, every floor plan is a horizontal section. So that view range is the height of that horizontal section and where the thing cuts. So currently the view range of this site plan is actually several meters above the natural ground level, which is why it's like you are seeing a bird eye view. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to this properties panel and we are going to click on this edit view range. So once we click on it, we are going to change this offset from 60,000 to 1,200. So by changing it to 1,200, we are now going to see the actual footprint of the building. Okay, so what we are now going to do is we are now going to hide things like this staircase, hide in view, right click on it, hide in view by category. We're also going to select this room separator lines, right click, hide in view by category. So now we have done this, we're now going to do some field region. Okay, we're going to use some field region to indicate the main building footprint of this site. So we're now going to go to annotate. After going to annotate, we're going to click on this drop down, click on field region. Then I'm going to click on this drop down, click on this diagonal down. Then once I've clicked on it, I'm going to click on this drop down to select a tick line. I'm going to be using this 0.8 line and I'm going to draw from this point here to this point here. So if you're having problem getting the accurate point due to the thickness of the line, you can click on TL on your keyboard. So it's now going to make everything automatically 10 lines, but this is just a graphic illusion. It doesn't mean the 0.8 lines are not active. So I'm going to click to this point, to this point too, to this point here, and just get the footprint of the building where the walls end up to here, here and here. Then I'm going to click on finish. Okay, so places like this, I can click on this extra facade wall, right click and hide in view by element. So now you can see how this is looking. If you click on TL again, you're going to see the tick lines will activate again. Okay, so now this is out of the way, we're now going to start giving some annotations. Okay, so these annotations are important because it's going to give information pertaining to this site. Okay, so the first thing to do is we're now going to type the name of the access road. So this site is a hypothetical site. Okay, so at this point, before we start annotating a lot of things in this work, I'll suggest that we now go to access the template file. So in this template file, we're going to get some text that is going to just help us and make life easier and faster for us. So we are just going to click on file and we're going to open the template. Click on it and just open it. So I suggest you do the same. So we're going to click on this site plan on the template file. We're going to double click on this and we're just going to copy some text here. So I'm going to select this text 1, 2, and okay, I think 1, 2 is enough, and I'm just going to click on this copy to clipboard. Then I'm going to hover around these tabs till I go to this second site plan. This is the site plan of this our current work, and I'm just going to hit Ctrl V and paste it. So if you are wondering that though this stuff I didn't place it inside the sheet, it doesn't mean it's not in the sheet. As far as it's on this view and this view is in the sheet, it's still going to reflect. For instance, you can see this security post and beacon 004. Then if you go back to this site plan here, this site plan sheet, you're going to see the same thing here. So it's like you're working on the same site plan, whether you're on the sheet or on the site plan itself. Okay, so let's just double click on this, and we're going to start using this text as to easily place it. So we're going to drag this text to this center point, and we're going to double click, and we're going to name it main building. Okay, so after calling in main building, we're now going to name this access road. So I'm going to select this and drag this text here, and I'm just going to call this road Architect Piper Way. Okay, so this is just a non-existent road. I'm just giving an example. So I'm going to click on copy. This is the normal copy. Select any point here and drag this. So we are going to put the beacon point. So beacon points are like coordinates used to locate specific plots of land or specific site plans. So without this beacon point, you cannot really ascertain. Beacon points are always on a survey or on a good survey plan. Okay, so we are going to, it's always essential that you put those beacon points. So since this is a non-existent site, I'm just going to call this beacon 001. Okay, so the beacon point at each point of the site plan is usually different. Okay, so we're going to copy this one to this second one. But if you have your beacon number, it's always good to place it to indicate it on your site plan. So we're going to call this beacon 002. Select this, copy, paste this here, and we're going to double click and call this beacon 003. Copy again, and I'm going to call this beacon 004. Okay, so now we have named the beacon numbers. We have named this road here, this access road. We are now going to indicate where we are going to the gate, okay, the access on this site. So the access on this site is obviously here, but we have this site boundary line coming here. So what we can do is to click on AL, which is align, and we're going to select this edge here and select this line here. Okay, sorry, I'm going to hit Ctrl Z. There was an error here. I'm going to click on AL. I'm going to try and select this edge here. Then click on tab till I select this boundary line. Once the boundary line is highlighted, click on it. So obviously that didn't work as well. So I'm just simply going to click on this, and I'm going to drag this line manually to stop at this point here. Okay, then I can click on TL again. So this TL is going to turn on my thin lines. So I'm only going to be seeing thin lines. So what I can do now is to go back to that template file, and I'm going to get some annotative features. Or instead of doing that, I can just click on annotate, click on field region, click on field region here, click on this drop down and just simply search for solid black. You can just search for black. Then I'm just going to select this solid black, change this line thickness to 10 lines or 0.1 if it's there. So I'm just going to set it at 10 lines. Then draw a line from this point up to this point here. Once you have gotten to that ending point, you are going to find the middle point. Once you hover the line, you are going to see a triangle highlighted indicating that that is the center. So I'm going to draw a line from here up to here and join it with this one here. Then I can just select these two lines here, click on mirror, and make sure I select this line here, then delete this middle line, then click on finish. So after doing this, now this is the graphical indication of a gate. So I can select this, click on mirror, on make sure I check this copy, click on this mirror, draw axis, pick this point here, and just try and make sure it's perpendicular to this line here. So I think this is, once this line highlights, click. So after doing this now, I can click on TL to turn on my thick lines again. So let me just do it, TL. And you're going to see that the gate is indicated. So now what we can now do is now, you can now add another field region. So this field region is going to indicate with an arrow that this is the access. So it's going to help visually indicate that this is the access of this site from here. So it can be the same field region again, but this time I'm just going to simply freestyle a small arrow. So I think this looks like an arrow, and click on finish. So this just indicates that this is the access of the site. So now we have done these basic annotations. We're now going to indicate the north arrow. So north arrow is very important. Okay, so depending on the site, the north arrow can be dynamic. Okay, it depends on the site, but for this site we are just going to be putting the north arrow perpendicular, that is facing upwards normally. So to get a good north arrow that you can adjust anytime you want, the north arrow that can do that is also in the template file. So we're just going to click on file, open this template file. Then if you go to this site plan here, you are going to see this north arrow here. So we are going to click on it, click on edit family, click on load into project. Make sure we select this working drawing tutorial or the file you are using and click on OK. And we're going to click on no to not override. So what we're going to do, I'm going to click on escape now. I'm going to go back to this site plan sheet here. Then I'm going to go to annotate and I'm going to click on this symbol here. And we are now going to see this north arrow main, and we're just going to place this here. So this is our north arrow. So you can see we are making some progress on this site plan. So we are going to double click on this and continue our detailing. So now we are now going to be entering the dimensions. So for this dimension, we are going to be doing the overall dimension around the site first. Okay, then we are now going to go into the setting out dimensions. So let's start from the overall dimensions. I'm going to click on aligned. So under this aligned, I'm going to click on drop down. So in this working drawing template, I created two types of dimension 1 and dimension 2. I think dimension 1 is the bigger one, then dimension 2 is the smaller one. So let's start with dimension 1, the bigger one we are going to be using for the overall. So once you come with dealing with especially irregular sides that are not perfect cubes, you always try picking points instead of picking lines. Okay, so let's start by picking this point here. You can see the point is highlighted. Over to this end, you can see another point here. So this is the first dimension here. Okay, then I don't think this green area here, okay, we can leave this is fine. Okay, so after we get the first dimension here, we are going to go to align again, pick this point here and pick this point and click on dimension. So just to confirm, I'm going to select this dimension, click on this drop down and change it to dimension 2. So dimension 2 is actually the bigger one, so I'm going to click on this first one and change it to dimension 2. Okay, so the bigger ones are for the overall dimension. So I'm going to go to align again, click on this drop down. I'm going to be using dimension 2. Select this point here, select the second point and dimension this. Do the same here, do the same here and dimension this. So now we have the overall dimension. We're now going to be doing the setting out dimension. So the setting out dimension is the dimension from multiple corners of the project to a point in the building, so they are going to be able to set it out. Okay, so I'm going to click on this drop down and change it to dimension 1 because I will be using the smaller dimension for the setting out. So we're going to start from this point here and hover till we get this point corner of this building. Click on tab to once we get the point, we select the point. Then we are going to make sure we don't select any other line in this dimension. Make sure it's between two lines where we are not selecting any other reference point, and dimension this. So you are going to see this dimension here. We're now going to go to this beacon tray here and hover around this corner here and do the same thing. Okay, so we are going to go here too, hover around here, click on tab, do it here, dimension here. So we're also going to now go here Okay, so far I think we have gotten the beacon point dimension and the setting out dimension properly. So the next set of dimensions we are going to be doing is we are now going to be dimensioning the site features and the building features. So we are going to click on this normal dimension 1 and we are going to start from this building edge here to this other building edge here. Then we are going to go to maybe the beginning of this parking and to the end of this parking and this green, and maybe to this beacon point here. Then we're also going to dimension this beacon point, so it's now going to be something like this. So we have a comprehensive horizontal dimension here. So we're going to do the same for a vertical dimension. At this point, select this beacon point here, select this other one here, and just dimension this. So now after doing this, we can now get the radial dimension. Click on this radial and we're just going to select this and get the radius of this curve here. Okay, so I think so far we have done a wonderful work in dimensioning this building, so which I think is very good. Okay, so now we are done with this dimension. We're now going to go and do some site analysis. So this site analysis now is going to entail the properties of this site, like the percentage covered by the building, the percentage covered by the... So to do, instead of wasting our time too much, we're going to do something. So we're going to go to legend here. We're going to right click and click new legend, and we're going to call this 01 site analysis. Okay, so now once we have created the site analysis, we are now going to, this is now where our template file is now going to come in clutch. So I'm going to click on file and I'm going to open this template file. Then once I open the template file, I'm now going to go under legends in this template file. So I'm going to see, you can see the legend here under this project browser. We're going to double click on this site analysis. We're now going to select everything here, click on copy to clipboard, then click on file again and open this our work we are working on, or the one you are working. Okay, then we're now going to go over to this legend here, click on this plus icon, double click on this site analysis and simply hit Ctrl V and paste it here. So you can see it has pasted. So we are going to go to this site plan sheet and we're going to click on this site analysis, hold and drag it into this view here and place it somewhere here. So after dragging in this site analysis, we are going to click on this drop down and click on no title. So it's not going to have a title, so it's just going to be site analysis and the main site plan. Okay, so now we are now going to start changing the information here, because the information here was based on that template file work. So we are going to start updating it. So I'm going to double click on this view first and select this. So this area, the area of this small building is 71 meters square. That is 71.528 meters square. So I'm just going to call this used area 71.528 meters square. So now it's 71.528 meters square. This is the used area. Okay, so we are going to get the total area of the site. This is easy. What we are going to do is to double click on the site, go to annotate, go to region. Okay, select pick lines, just click on pick line to any kind of line, pick here, pick here, pick here, and pick here. Then trim everything together to make sure it fits in with the site. Click on finish. Then you're going to see the area 568.582 meters square. So we're going to double click on the legend 568.582 meters square. Okay, so after doing this, we are going to double click on the main view again just to confirm 567.582, which is correct. I'm going to click on delete this, the temporal field region we created. So now we are now going to get some other areas. We are going to try and get this green area. So I'm going to select this green area here. So this green area is currently, if you select the floor area, you're going to see the area 74.542 meters square. So we are just going to double click outside and call it 74.524 4 meters square. Okay, so now after the green area, we're now going to get the paved area. So I'm going to double click on this paved area. So this paved area is not accurate. The reason why is that we just created the paved area. So we're just going to click on edit boundary, and we're just going to try and click on pick line tool and just try and select the peripherals of this field region here. So I'm just clicking on tab till I select the field region line. Then I'm going to click finish. So I'm now ready to save the project. So the paved area is now 431.495 meters square. So we're just going to impute it. 431.459 meters square. Okay, so I can just click on this, double click on the main view to confirm this. 495 meters square, sorry. Okay, so at this point now, after putting in all this information, what is now left is to do some small mathematics and just subtract this used area from this total area to get the unused area. So we're just going to open our calculator and we're going to be imputing the value 568.582 minus 71.528. So this is 497.054. Okay, so we are going to put it 497.054. Okay, so now we are done with this site analysis. That is a lot of information, and I think we are done with the site plan. Okay, so now you can see this site plan has enough information to settle this land and to be able to execute this project. So you can also go and do some further specifications. For example, if I double click on this, I can go to annotate, click on text, click on this drop down. You're going to see the specification text if you have transfer template. If you don't know how to transfer template, I have a video on that. Very simple thing to do. Okay, so yeah, you can just click on some specifications and we can call this concrete paved area. Okay, we can write another text here and we can call this lush green vegetation. Okay, so depending on the complexity of your site, you can even go further by specifying more things. You can even go further by doing site sections, but this is just a very simple project. So I'm going to arrange these specifications. Click on this label here, click and drag this point here and drag this second point to form a very architecturally organized label specification placement. So I'm going to click on this again, drag this here to this vegetation and just arrange it properly. So it's just going to be L-shaped. So I'm going to double click and now we are now going to be going into the floor plans. As usual, we are going to go to this DPC. Okay, so once we go to this DPC, we are now going to duplicate it and rename it appropriately. So we are going to be following a series of nomenclature that is going to make us easily able to access all the different ground floor plans arranged accordingly when we need them. Okay, so I'm going to right click on this DPC and I'm going to hit duplicate with detailing, duplicate view with detailing. Then I'm going to now right click on this new DPC copy one, click on rename. Then I'm now going to call this 02 ground floor 0201. So I'm going to add two values, 0201 ground floor plan or ground floor. Let me just name it the same way with the sheet, hyphen dimension plan. Okay, so before we duplicate it, we are going to work on this dimension plan first. All right, so we're just going to be doing almost the same thing. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're not going to hide all these site features. We don't need them to be showing on the ground floor plan. So I'm just going to right click, hide in view by element. So I left click and selected all of them. So I'm going to click on this show crop region and it's going to show the crop region of this project. Then I'm going to make sure I click on it off. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this and make sure this is set as fine, which is it already is. Then I'm now going to click on VV, that is visibility graphics, to set some basic graphics parameter for the ground floor. Then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on go under this row where walls are. Then I'm going to go under this cut pattern column columns. Okay, so I'm just going to click under this row of walls, click on override for this pattern column. Then I'm going to click on this and I'm going to set the wall pattern. So I'm just going to be choosing this brick wall. I think, yes, I'm going to be choosing this brick wall. I'm going to click on this and just make sure that, okay, so once I click on brick wall, I'm going to click OK again. Then I'm now going to go to this cut. I'm going to go under this line column, click on this override and change the line weight to 6 or 5. I think 5 is standard. Then I'm going to click OK, click on apply and click on OK. So now what we are going to do now is we are now going to drag this view and place it on the sheet and see how it is. So I'm going to go to this ground floor. I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to left click on this view here and drag it to this sheet and place this. So actually this ground floor, this is currently at scale 1:100, but I think a smaller scale is going to enter the sheet. So I'm going to change it to click on this scale under this properties panel, click on the view first, click on this under properties panel and change it to scale 1:50 first. So I think scale 1:50 is rather too big, but I think it might just enter very well. Or let me just set it at scale 1:75. So I'm going to click on this drop down. Since 1:75 is not an architectural scale, it's not going to be in any preset under these scales. So we are going to click on custom and change this to 75 and just adjust it and place this here. So I think 1:75 is a decent scale. So I'm going to click on this, drag this to this point here, click on this viewpoint and just drag this line here. So if you don't know how I did it before, let me just do it again. So I clicked on this, click out of this view, then clicked on this title text here. So now we have placed this on the sheet. We're just going to click on this view icon, this view panel, and we are just going to drag this line here, setting this at a very good position. So we're going to double click on this view and we're going to go to another thing, or we're going to go to the next phase. We're now going to outline our cantilever because this is a this is a one-story building, so it has cantilevers on the upper floor. So to see how the extent of the cantilevers are indicated, we're going to go under this underlay, click on this drop down and set the underlay at first floor. So you're now going to see the extent of the cantilever, which goes all the way around it. So we're going to go to annotate, click on detail line, click on this drop down, and we're going to be using these overhead lines to indicate this cantilever. We're just going to follow the edges and draw it to meet this point, then click on escape. So now after we have done this, we're going to go back to this underlay, click on this and change it back to none. Okay, so we have indicated our cantilever. So this is a dimension plan, and in dimension plan the furnitures don't need to show. So we're going to select this furniture, right click, hide in view by category to hide these furnitures by category. Then we're going to start dimension. So we're going to start from the exterior dimension to the interior dimension. But hold on, just before we dimension, we're going to add an annotation. We're going to go to annotate and we're going to click on this spot elevation. So this spot elevation indicates the height of the room floors. Okay, so for example, the DPC level was set at 600, so this just indicates that this is at 600. So we are just going to left click on one point here, left click again, then just align it, whether you move this side or this side, align it here. So this will now help you adjust the position of your room tags already. So we're going to be adjusting this position of this room tags here, and just doing the same here as well. Then we're going to go to annotate, we're going to go to spot elevation, we're going to pick this point here and pick this point here. Then we're going to do the same here. We can pick from this point, go down, pick here and pick here. Then we can now adjust, click on this and adjust this room tag here. Okay, so this is looking good so far. So we're now going to go into the dimension. Now this is done. So we're going to go to align and we're going to be using this dimension 1. Yeah, okay, so in this dimension 1, we're going to be dimensioning the exterior. So there are 5 levels of dimension in the exterior of a building. Okay, so the first set of dimension are the dimension of the openings and the faces. So we're going to be dimensioning. Okay, let me go again. We're going to click on align. We're going to make sure this dimension or modify or place dimension is set as wall faces. Make sure it's individual references. Then we're going to pick the faces and the edges of the windows. So you can see if I go here, you're going to see the edge of the window is going to highlight. I'm going to left click while I'm still holding the same dimension. So once I'm done with this face now, I'm now going to click on the middle of the dimension. So it's not going to pick any other reference point and it's going to place it. So I'm going to left click here and do the same here, all the faces. So this place is actually a void, so we're going to also use detail line to indicate it. This time we're going to be using this regular 10 lines, and we're just going to indicate that this is a void going up. Okay, so we're also going to select these 2 lines, click on copy to clipboard, and just simply click on paste, align to selected levels, align to first floor, select first floor and click OK. So we are going to need it once we get to the first floor, but for now we should just try as much as possible to be covering as much things as we can. So after, we are going to dimension the face dimension for this upper side, and I think we'll now go into the next layer of exterior dimensions. Okay, so now after we are done dimensioning the faces of the windows and the faces and the openings, we are now going to be taking the wall to wall dimension. So this is going to include walls close in proximity to the face in which we are dimensioning. So we are going to dimension these walls here and this one here, and just place this here. We are going to do the same here. So if you notice, the reason why I skip this wall is that this wall is more like a key facade element, not a structural wall element. Okay, so there's no need to dimension that in the main wall dimensions. So after dimensioning the wall dimension, we are now going to be doing the overall face dimension. Okay, so this overall face dimension in some views is kind of redundant because some views don't have articulated faces. So for like this one, we can just dimension this for here. So just get the main faces, the main dimension of all the faces of the articulation of the building. So once our dimensions are getting choked up, we can click on these grid lines and extend it since we still have space on our sheet. So the grid lines are currently set at 3D, meaning if we extend it here, it's going to extend another view, which I think in the context of this is still not bad because other views is still going to fall within this sheet because you can see there's still enough space here. So we're going to continue like that and do the same for back side of the building. So now after dimensioning the major faces, we are now going to be dimensioning the grid lines. Okay, so these are also important dimensions and we're going to take those grid line dimensions. So after taking these grid line dimensions, we are finally going to take the overall dimension with a bigger type of dimension. So I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to be setting this as dimension 2. So I'm going to take the overall dimension of the building on each side. So like I told you, in some faces like this, you can see this overall dimension matches this face dimension, which I said in some situations that dimension can be redundant, but it's still okay to just add it. So we're going to do the overall dimension here too as well, and this overall dimension here of the building. So after doing this, now we have done with the exterior dimension of this building. Now we're now going to be doing the interior dimensions. So this interior dimension is going to get the dimension of the space as they relate to each other. Normally this is important for more complex project, but in this kind of project you can see that even with this only this exterior dimension, someone will be able to construct this. But I'm still going to show you how to dimension interior dimension. So we're going to click on align. We're going to be using the dimension 1, and we're first going to start from dimensioning the windows end to end. Like I said, this dimensioning may be redundant in this small project, but it is important in other bigger projects. Then after dimensioning the windows end to end, we are going to give the overall dimension end to end. Then we are going to go over here. I do the same thing for this section of the build. We can even dimension this staircase here, and we're going to give an overall dimension from this length to this length here. Then we're going to dimension the width of the steps. Okay, so we're also going to dimension from this point up to here. Then we're going to take some dimensions from the doors. Since there's already an overall dimension here, there's no need to create an overall one here. We're also going to dimension this curtain wall and this window end to end. Okay, then we're going to dimension, we have dimensioned the staircase width, so we're going to also dimension the length of this staircase from this point here up to here. Then we're going to take the dimension of this space here to this window here, and we're going to take from here this overall dimension here. We're also going to take this overall dimension width here. Okay, so since we have these dimensions serving outside this window dimensions here, we don't need to do any more interior dimension of these windows that is going to be causing obstructions in this room tag. So we're also going to dimension the overall dimension at this point here. Then we're going to do the overall depth here. Then we're now going to do for the steps. Okay, so I think this dimension is enough and it can serve, and I think it gives off all the information you need to construct this building. So after doing this, now we're now going to go and we're going to duplicate this view, and we're now going to be creating the ground floor furniture plan. Okay, so we're going to double click outside this view now, and we're now going to go to this ground floor plan under this project browser. We're now going to right click, duplicate view, duplicate with detailing, and we're just going to right click and rename this. So we're going to be changing some things in this name. Firstly, we're going to change the second value of this number, that is from 01 to 02. So it will no more be ground floor dimension plan. It's now going to, let me just click on rename again, and I'm going to select this whole and click on backspace all of this. Then I'm going to call this ground floor furniture plan. So after calling this furniture plan, I'm going to click off and I'm going to click on save project. So we're going to save our progress. So now I'm just going to select one of these dimension. I'm going to right click, select all instances, invisible view, not an entire project. Then I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to select this second dimension, right click, select all instances, invisible view, and I'm going to delete this. So now this is done. Now we are now going to go back to our template file. We're going to be getting some resources from it. So I'm going to click on file. I'm going to open this template file. Then I'm now going to go to the furniture plan of this, the ground floor furniture plan of this template file. So after going to it, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this door tag here. So door tags are actually annotations for the door, so it's going to help in scheduling and quantifying later on. So we're just going to click on this door tags. As you can see, you remember that you are supposed to have this file, and is in the link will be in my description below. I'm going to click on edit family. Then I'm now going to click on load into project, and I'm going to make sure I select the work we're using to practice. So we're going to click on OK, no, and override graphics in view. So we're going to go back to the template file again. We are now going to do the same for the window tags and the curtain wall tags. So I'm going to go to ground floor furniture plan. Then I'm now going to select this W1 and I'm going to click on edit family, and I'm going to load it into project and load it into the project and click no, override graphics in view. So after doing this, now I'm going to click on file again. I'm going to go back to the template file. Then I'm going to be going back to the ground floor furniture plan. Then I'm going to select this curtain wall tags, and I'm going to click on edit family, and I'm going to click on load into project, and I'm going to load into the project we are going to be using to practice. Okay, so this is just a way to make things faster instead of wasting your time too much. So if you go to this ground floor furniture plan of the main work we're using to practice. So this ground floor furniture plan, we're going to unhide all the furnitures and we're going to tag the walls, the windows, and the doors and the curtain walls. Okay, so the first thing to do is we're going to click on this reveal hidden element icon, which is this icon here. Then we're going to select any furniture, right click, of unhide in view by category, and click on it. Then we're going to click this this reveal hidden element to reverse it. Okay, not to reverse it, but just to stop revealing the hidden elements. Okay, so now we have done this, we're now going to start tagging all the windows and all the doors. Okay, so to tag windows and doors, we are going to go to annotate. You are going to click on tag all. Once you click on tag all, we are going to scroll down and select windows. We are going to scroll up to where D is and select door tags, check it on too. We are going to click on OK, and it's going to tag all of them. So after it has tagged all the doors and all the windows, we are now going to also do tag by category now. So this one, we are going to make sure that we uncheck these leaders here, and we're going to try and tag this curtain wall. The reason why this curtain wall is not showing anything is that in the tag parameters, which I'm going to explain shortly, we actually set it at mark value and it currently has no mark value. So we're going to leave it for now and click escape. So let me now explain what these tag parameter values are. Okay, so if you click on this D1 for example, and you click on edit family now, you are going to see the stuff as it is on the main sheet. So if you click on this value here and you click on this edit label, you are now going to see the parameter. So the parameter is currently set at type mark, which if I click on this and I click on this red button, I'm going to remove it. So if I go back and look for type mark again and click on this green icon, I'm going to add it. Then I'm going to set the prefix. Prefix is like a letter to help you know what you are tagging. For example, the prefix I use for door is D. So I'll now set the sample value as 1 and I'm going to click OK. That is how I formed that text, that parameter. So I'm going to load it into project and click on OK. So the reason why I saved it as type mark, I use the type mark value for the door tags, is because the type mark is included in every like door and window component. So every door and window component has a type mark value, which is shared for all the similar doors in the project. So for example, if I click on this door now and I click on edit type and I change the type mark value to, let's say, from 1 like this to 22, and I click OK, you're going to see that if I tag any of this similar door like this in this project, is going to change. The door tag is going to remain as this D22, okay, giving us the control and the scheduling we want to use it for. So I'm going to click on edit and I'm going to change it back to 1 since I want this to be D1. Then I want this door here to be D3, so I'm going to click on edit type and I'm going to change the type mark value to 3, making it D3. So these window tags, I think the window, I like the type mark value. So now for the curtain wall, why the curtain wall didn't is because we didn't use the type mark value for the curtain wall tags. We used the mark value because each curtain wall is actually a wall component. It's not like a window or door. So it's not a family per se. It's like a component you can create, or you can custom create something like that. So if you click on this curtain wall now, we're now going to change the mark value of this one according to what we want each curtain wall to be. So we have 2 curtain walls in this project, so I'm going to change this mark value of this one to 1 and select the second one and change the mark value to 2. Okay, let me just change it to 2. So after changing it to 2, I'm going to go to annotate. I'm going to click on tag by category. I'm going to make sure this leader is unchecked on. So I'm just going to tag this. This is now appear as CW1 and I'm going to tag this as well, CW2. So you can see we have tagged every door and window in this view now. Okay, so now after doing this, we are going to also go back to this our ground floor furniture plan, and we're going to go here and we're going to drag this furniture plan inside. So the reason why I didn't drag this as first, like the way I did for the dimension plan, is since the dimension plan entered the sheet successfully, the furniture plan should enter the sheet successfully as well without any issues. So now I'm just going to do some adjustments, drag this one to this title here, click on this view panel and just drag this line here. So we have our ground floor furniture plan. Okay, so the next ground floor plan we're going to be creating is the floor finishes. So as usual, we're going to right click, we're going to click on duplicate view, duplicate with detailing. Then I'm going to right click and click on rename. Then I'm going to be changing this second value to 03. So you can see how the nomenclature is going. So you can see it's going to be organized this way. So I'm going to go to the end, click on backspace and make sure this is ground floor floor finishes. So this floor plan is basically to show the kind of floor tiles we are going to be using for the spaces here. So what we are going to do is we are just going to select all these furnitures and we're going to right click, hide in view by category. Then I'm going to select all the tags, or I can just highlight everything on this ground floor, click on filter, click on check none and look for the door tags. I'm going to scroll down, look for the window tags and look for also the curtain wall tags, or the wall tags, sorry. Then I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to delete all of them in this view. So after doing so, now we're now going to go to our template file. But before we do that, we're going to go over to this legend. We're going to right click and click on new legend. Then we're now going to call this 02 floor finishes. So after giving it this name, I'm going to click OK. So if you click on file and we click on our working drawing template, we're going to go over to the legends in this our working drawing template. Okay, so you can thank me later for this template. So we're going to select these floor finishes and we're just going to highlight everything here and we're going to copy to clipboard. Then we're going to go to file and we're going to open our normal file we're working on. Then we're now going to go into this floor finishes and we're going to click on Ctrl V and just paste this here. So this floor finish is so two types of tiles. So this is 600mm by 600mm glazed vitrified tiles and this is 300 by 300 granite tile. So basically this is with a tile I use for predominantly most of the space. Even though you can get more detailed specifications on your own, then these are the tiles for maybe the conveniences and all the stuff. But since this is a very small project, I don't think it will be needed up until first floor, this second tile. But I still find it's just like I said, this is just me showing you a sample of how to get this stuff done. So I'm going to go to this A006, which is ground floor finishes, and I'm going to drag this floor finishes, ground floor finishes to this view here. Then after dragging this, I'm just going to adjust this a bit to this side because I'm going to place a legend here. Then I'm going to click on this name of the view, drag it to this point, click on this view and drag this line to just match the name. So now this is done. We're now going to go over to this our legend and we're going to drag this floor finish legend here and we're going to place this somewhere here. So we are going to click on this view, click on this drop down and change it to no title. So looking at this, we can see this pattern here. So as you can see, if you double click on this and click on this pattern and click on edit type, you are going to see the name of the pattern, 00600mm tiles drafting. You are going to select this one too, click on edit type. You are going to see 300mm tiles drafting. So since we have copied these regions, these field regions and these detailed items to this project, you are going to see the detailed items will be available for editing within this project. So let me show you what I mean. So if I double click outside the view and double click inside this project, so I want to indicate that all this whole slab here is tiled with this kind of tile, this 600 by 600. So I'm just going to select this floor here. I'm going to right click, override graphics in view by element. Then I'm now going to go to this foreground pattern, click on this three dot. Then I'm just going to see this 600mm tiles and I'm going to select it and click OK. Then I'm going to click OK again. So you can see it just entered seamlessly. So I'm going to do the same for these steps. Right click, override graphics in view by element. Click on this three dot. Change it to 600mm tiles and click OK. So this is basically just showing these are the type of tiles we are going to be using in this view. Okay, so that is what this floor plan is mainly for. So now we are now going to be going to the next floor plan, which is ground floor floor plate. So what we are going to do is we are going to right click, go back to this project browser, right click, click on duplicate view, duplicate with detailing. Then I'm just going to right click, click on rename and call this, change this numerical value to 0204. Yes, then go to the ending, backspace, and just change this to floor plate. So if you may ask, what is floor plate? So floor plate is basically where your slab is going to encompass. So it's going to help the contractor on site to know where they are going to cast slab. So it's very important and a very key aspect. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just select these steps, right click and hide in view by category. We don't need steps for this. We're just going to show where the slab is going to end. So we're going to select this floor here, right click, override graphics in view by element, click on these three dots and change it to by material and click OK. So it's going to reverse it. So after doing this, we can select this railing, hide in view by category, whatever. So now what we're now going to do is we're now going to go to annotate. We're going to go to field region. Then we're going to be using concrete, searching for concrete. Then once we click on concrete, we're going to click on this line and we're going to change it to wide lines. Then we're going to start drawing all the parts that this slab will reach. So if you notice, when I clicked on the floor, the floor's profile was inside the inner soffit of the wall. But in actuality, that is not how floors are. Floors are usually casted up to the outer soffit of the wall. Why I just model like that is for visualization sake. So it's important to keep that in mind. So I'm just going to draw these external peripherals of the wall up to this point here, up to this point here, and up to this point. Remember, this is a facade element, so it's not needed. So I'm going to click on finish. So after doing this, I'm going to select this facade element, hide in view by element. Then I'm just going to select everything here, click on filter, click on check none. Then I'm now going to select or check only these rooms and room tags. Then I'm going to go right click, hide in view by category. I'm also going to click on tab, select this, right click, hide in view by category. Then I'm going to click on these two lines and just delete it. Okay, so now for this floor plate, what we're now going to do is we're now going to just dimension the peripherals. So I'm going to click on align, dimension 1, dimension this edge here, dimension here, dimension here as well, dimension here too, dimension here as well. So this is pretty straightforward, and we're going to click escape. So this is going to help construction or the contractor know where exactly they are going to slab without necessarily racking their heads too much. So we're going to go to this ground floor plate sheet, and we're going to drag in this ground floor plate into this view here. Okay, so now we're just going to adjust the position of this, and we're going to click on this and just drag this back here. Okay, so now after the ground floor plate, we're now going to have the ground floor reflected ceiling plan. Okay, so this reflected ceiling plan is a bit more technical than the other latter floor plans. So we're going to access this, we're going to be opening this ceiling plan architectural plans. So we're now going to select this DPC ceiling plan, and we're going to right click and click on duplicate view with detailing. Then we're going to right click and click on rename. Then we're going to be renaming this with this same nomenclature 0205 ground floor arrow, and we're going to click off to give it this name. So after giving it this name, now we're going to start with some basic editing. So we're just going to select everything here, hide in view by category. Okay, so after selecting everything here, you're going to see some of the ceiling works we have already done. So but before we do anything, we're going to go to legends again. Then I'm going to right click and click on new legend. Then I'm going to be calling this 00 or 03 ceiling legend, and I'm going to click OK. So after creating this ceiling legend, I'm now going to click on this file, and we're going to go to this our working drawing template. So now we're now going to be going to this ceiling, we're going to go under this legends and just simply look for RCP legend, which is the same thing as ceiling legend. So in this RCP legend, you're going to see the ceiling legend and the lighting legend, which I have already created some presets to help you make your work faster. Okay, you can work on it and make it more detailed, but this is a good starting point. So we're going to select everything here, click on copy to clipboard, click on file, open the work we are using to practice. Then we're just going to go to this ceiling legend and we're just going to hit Ctrl V to paste it. All right, so once our ceiling legend is ready, we are now going to go back to our ground floor reflected ceiling plans and work on it. So once we go to under the ceiling plans in our project browser, we're just going to click on this ground floor RCP. So once we click on it, we are going to be seeing the reflected ceiling plan of our ground floor. So we are going to see the slab and the ceilings we created. So to get a better perspective of this, we are just going to go to click on this 3D icon here. Then we are just going to rotate this out 3D. All right, so I'm just going to go over to this properties panel and I'm going to click on this section box. So this section box is like a tool that helps us cut axonometric views to be able to see our 3Ds very much better and see some parts you will not normally see. So we are just going to click on this section box and just drag this gizmo underneath to just crop out the side section of this our 3D. Then we can rotate this, then we can see the ceilings we are looking at here. So you can see this first ceiling here, you can see this second one too. So that is so you can also see this slab here and where the thing ends at this staircase. So this gives us a better perspective on what we are supposed to be seeing on our ground floor RCP. So if you go back to this ground floor RCP, you are going to see these two ceilings which you are not meant to see it. So if you click on this and we click on edit and we click on OK. So once you have clicked on edit, you're only seeing one here. So we are going to try and see if we can hide somehow, obscure this one, because we are not meant to see that in this view. So for this, what we are going to be doing is we are going to go to annotate. We are going to go to region, click on this drop down and click on max region. So under this max region, we are going to change this line width. Okay, we are going to leave these wide lines and just click on this wide line. So we can click on TL. That is the shortcut for 10 lines. Then we can now, every place that has wide lines here, we can just use the same wide lines here. Then I'm going to click on these wide lines and change it to 10 lines. Then I'm going to use it for this section and this section. So it's going to match the line profiles that are already visible now. So I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to set it at invisible lines and draw an invisible line here. Then I'm going to click on finish. So once I draw an invisible line, okay, so I can click on edit type and drag this invisible line a bit, or unconnect it from here too and just push it out a bit. Then click on this line work again and draw another invisible line here, draw another one here, then trim both of them together, then click on finish. So once this is done, it will seem like there is nothing here. Okay, so it's going to obscure that ceiling view we don't want to, that other ceiling we don't want to do since I modeled them together. So now this is out of the way, we are going to start doing some line works. We're going to start doing some line works for this ceiling plan design, and we're going to be using it as a precursor before we start putting the main materials of the ceiling. So to start, we are going to go to detail line and we're going to be using the 10 lines. So before we do we're just going to select this draw line tool and we're going to set an offset of -150. So on setting this offset of -150, we can now click on each of these points here, or click from this point, click from here, click here as well, click here, and click here, and click here. So basically what I'm thinking, having in mind for this space is I want to have a POP, that is plaster of Paris ceiling. Okay, so after I've done this profile, I'm now going to click on modify, or I'm going to click on annotate again, click on detail line and do the same here. So I'm just going to put the offset of -150. So this 150 is meant for a curtain pocket, so you can put curtain and hidden LED lights around this POP just to give it a nice ceiling finish. So we're going to do the same for this foyer space here and leave it like that. Okay, so another thing we forgot to do is we forgot to drag this reflected ceiling plan to the sheet. So we're going to click on this ground floor RCP. We're going to go to where we left the ground floor RCP under the project browser, then drag the view to the sheet. So we're going to drag it towards the left because we want to keep space for that legend. Then we're also going to click on this ceiling legend and drag it. So now we have dragged the legend of the ceiling legend. We can click on this viewpoint, click on this drop down and change it to no title. So if you can see the plaster of Paris field region I used, and the floor surface created a motion paint. So that's what we're going to be using basically for this. Or I think we should even use the plaster of Paris in this outdoor section, since the thing has a flat board, and it has some LED lights. Okay, so we need to consider your design plan while putting this ceiling legend materials. So we are going to click on this viewpoint. We are going to click out first. We are going to select this view title here, drag it down here, click on the viewpoint itself and drag this line here to just adjust it and make it look balanced on the sheet. So now we're also going to be creating a legend for the LED lights. So because we are going to be using LED lights predominantly here, so I just remembered it now. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to select everything on this last column, click on copy and just copy it by one column. Okay, you saw the reference point. So I can click on this and delete this, click on this and delete this. Then I'll just go to detail line. Remember that once you get these files I left in the description below, you should also transfer the templates. This is very important, because if you don't transfer the template, it's going to give you a whole lot of work, because you are going to, the reason for the template is to make things faster for you. So if I click on this drop down, I'm going to see a line called LED light. I created it in the template, so if you have the template you can use it, and just click on it to draw a line. So I consider this LED light rather very thick, so I'm going to try and adjust it to a way that it will not be too thick. So I'm just going to rename it first and call this LED strip lights. So after giving it that name, I'm now going to go to manage. I'm going to go to additional settings and I'm going to go to line styles. Then I'm going to click on this plus icon and I'm going to go to this LED light and change the thickness to 5 instead of 7. Then I'm going to click on OK. So you are going to see it's going to change now. So now we are going to go back to our RCP design and we're going to continue with our line work. So I'm going to click on modify. I'm going to click on offset here. Then I'm going to just put a value of 900 millimeter. Okay, so I'm using the metric system, by the way. If you're using the imperial system, you can try and do the equivalent of that. So I'm going to offset here as well, and offset from this rear region. Then I'm going to click on this trim extend to corner tool and I'm just going to trim everything together. So after trimming everything, I'm also going to click on offset again and I'm going to offset this space here, but it will not be by 900, it will be by 600 millimeter from each side. Then I'm going to trim. Okay, so I'm going to click on offset again and I'm still going to do another 900 millimeter offset from this side here inside, so forming a 2-layer POP. So I'm going to use some text to indicate the height offset of this POP and show that, okay, this side is higher or which side is lower. So it's not going to be confusing. So now we have done all this line, we are going to be looking at this plaster of Paris. So I'm going to double click outside this view and go to this legend. Click on this field region for this plaster of Paris and I named it plaster of Paris. So now I've copied it to this project. It's going to be in the inventory of this project itself. Okay, so I'm just going to double click on this and I'm going to go to annotate now and I'm going to go to detail line field region, sorry. Then I'm going to close this I'm going to click on this drop down and click on field region. Click on this drop down and look for plaster of Paris. Okay, see it, plaster of Paris. Then I'm just going to click on this box tool here. I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to change it to wide lines. Remember, I'm keeping it at wide lines, so it's going to match what we have here. So I'm going to click on this line tool. I'm going to draw from here. Since we are going to be using POP throughout up to this point. Then I'm going to change this to 10 lines and I'm going to close this here. I'm also going to do the same thing for this space. Click on this box tool, click on this drop down, change it back to wide lines and draw from this point up to this point. Then I'm going to change this back to 10. Okay, I'm still going to maintain it at wide lines, but I'm going to be using this line tool. So I'm going to draw from this point here to here to here. Up to this point where the wide line ends for this ceiling. Then I'm now going to click on this line tool here, click on this drop down and select thin lines. Then I'm going to draw from here to match this. So after doing this now, I'm going to click on this pick line tool and I'm going to be selecting these edges here for the LED lights. So I'm going to make some provision for them. Then I'm going to now do some trimming. But before I trim here, I'm going to click on split element. I'm going to split this middle of this line. Then I'm going to click on trim and trim this here. Trim this here to this two side too. Also trim this here and trim this here. So we're going to click on this line and delete it. So it's going to be something like this. Then I'm just going to click on finish. So you can see this whole profile here indicates plaster of Paris, which we are going to be using predominantly. So this is a staircase. So due to it's a staircase, there is no ceiling directly on this floor. Okay, so after doing this now, we're now going to start putting some light fixtures. Okay, and we're going to be using that which is on this legend. So let's start with the LED light and draw some LED light where we want it. So I'm going to go to detail line and I'm going to click on LED light, and I'm going to be using this line tool or this pick line tool for now, because I want to follow this gap here where I gave provision for LED light. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be putting 25mm offset, since the width of this place is 50mm and I want these LED lines to be at the center. So once I pick here, you see this blue dotted line highlights where the line is going to be placed, so which is perfectly at the center, indicating this is an LED light. So after doing this now, we'll click on escape. We're now going to put some LED light along the rims of this POP where we want it to be. So we're going to click on lines again, detail line. We're going to click on pick line tool and we're going to put an offset of 25, and we're just going to be offsetting it inside, because since these are hidden lights at this POP, so we're going to be putting some here and also some here just to create this nice light fill. So after doing this now, we can click on escape. Then we can now go to modify and do some trimming. Then we can trim some of these lines here. All right, I think we are good now. So if you notice something, these LED lines are kind of fighting with the main line showing the profile of the POPs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to offset it once again by 25mm, so it's going to stay off. But this time I'm going to uncheck this copy here. Once I click on one, I'm going to click on tab to offset the rest, so it's going to push all of them forward. Click on tab, offset everything. Hover around one, click on tab, offset everything. So it's going to be looking more balanced and much more informative. Okay, so now this is out of the way, we are going to start placing some lighting fixtures. Okay, so some like spotlight and all. So I'm going to double click from here and go to this legend, double click again. Then I'm going to be selecting these two specific lines. Since there is no kitchen in this space, I don't think I'll need this one. So I'm just going to click on copy, normal copy to, copy to clipboard. Then I'm going to double click outside the view, double click inside this RCP view and click Ctrl V and paste this here. So after pasting this, I'm going to select the two of them since they are not visible, and I'm going to say send to front and click on, send bring to front and click on bring to this front. So it's going to bring them to the front. So what we're going to do now is, for this spotlight, there's a technique I'm going to show you how to place it. So I'm going to click on this spotlight and click on move. Then I'm going to select the center point. If you copy this spotlight, you'll be able to select the center point. And I'm going to drag it to this point first. Then I'm also going to click on this one, click on move, select the center point and drag it to this corner first. So now I'm going to click on this light here. I'm going to click on move and I'm going to move it by 300mm or 450mm downwards. Click enter. Then I'm going to click on move again and move it by 450 to this side. So move it. Okay. So now I've done this, I'm going to also click on this light, click on copy one here to the center point. So once you get to the center point of this line, this triangle is going to appear. So I'm just going to copy it there. Then I'm going to select this and click on move and move this by 450 millimeter. So you see I've already created a centralized and organized lighting system without light fixture point, without necessarily scattering everything. So I'm now going to select this. I'm going to click on mirror. I'm going to find the center point of this line, click on it and draw a horizontal line to mirror it to this other side. Okay, I mistakenly mirrored it without checking copy. So I'm going to select this now. I'm going to click on mirror, draw axis, make sure I check this copy on, select the center point of this line and just click on this and mirror it to this other side. Then after doing this, I'm going to select these three lines, hold Control, select this three lighting point, click on mirror and select this center point here and mirror it to this other side. Okay, creating enough light for this place. So now I can click on this, click on copy, select this and copy it to the center point here, then click on move and just move this by 600 or 900, so it's going to give some light into this point. So now we are going to place this center one. So I'm just going to select this, click on move this to this point here. After moving this to this point, middle point here, I'm going to click on move again, select this point as a reference. I'll just move it from that point to the middle. Thereby I've just created lighting fixture here. So now we're going to place some lighting fixture in this foyer space. So I'm going to click on this, click on copy this from this point to this corner here, click on this, select this and click on move and move this to this center point. Then I'm going to click on move again and move this by 300 millimeter. Since remember for this part we were offsetted 600, so we're just going to try and place it in the middle. Then select this, click on mirror and mirror it to this other side here. Okay, so after doing this now, we're going to select this light here, click on copy this here to this line here, then click on move and move it by 600 millimeter. Select this, click on copy, select this point here and copy it to the same line of this point, so it's going to just move here. Then we can select these two lighting fixtures, click on copy this to by 1.5 meter, select this, click on copy, select this point here and just select this point here to just give a consistent distance. Then if you just want to add more lighting, you can select this, click on mirror, select this line and draw a perpendicular line, copying this to this side, then clicking on move and just move it up to match this one. So I think so far we have done a nice work, but we still have some information to put on this view, on this RCP view. Firstly, we'll go to architecture. We are going to now click on tag rooms because we have already created the rooms here. So I'm going to tag here as foyer, tag here as the entrance, tag here as the living area. So after doing this now, I'm now going to go to annotate and I'm going to click on text. So I'm going to be using this specification text to kind of write this. So I'm going to start from here and I'm going to put this first text here. The height of the POP from the slab surface. So I'm going to put this text here, or rather I'm going to click on edit type, click on duplicate and call this 00RCP text. Then I'm now going to change the parameters, leave the text size as, change the text size to 1.4 and click OK. Then I'm just going to click on this and call this look for plus, hold shift plus 450. Okay, so after doing this, I'm just going to select this, click on escape, click on tab, select this text, click on copy and copy it to somewhere here. So I'm going to change this to, click on tab, select this, change this to plus 150. So this shows that this is 450 of the slab, the suspended slab. This is 150 of the suspended slab. So I'm going to click on tab, click on copy, copy this here and change this to, click on tab, plus 0. Okay, then I'm going to select this again, this plus 150, click on copy and copy it here, indicating this is plus 150. So the same for this, this is plus 150, click on tab, select this, click on copy and this is plus 0. So just to make everything organized, I can click on tab and try and just align these two texts in one line and do the same for this. So if you want to still show more information, you can double click and you can even add another column here to show the number of the lighting fixtures you place. So let's say we want to just show more information. We can select all these lines here, click on copy and copy it by, let's say, 400. Click on this trim extend straight single element, then click on it, just select this and just select all these lines here. Then what we can now do now is now to extend this again by 800. Then we can now just delete this line here, then select this here, select this and click on copy, select this point and copy this here. Then we can simply add the number here, so we can count manually from here: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, let me say there are 6 here: 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. So we can just put this number here as 15. For this, there is only one of them. We can put 1. This is 0. So you can see we have created a very informative reflected ceiling plan. So we don't necessarily need to do much dimensions here, since we are basically showing the lighting fixtures for the electrical engineer to go further with the electrical drawing and design. So now the ceiling plan is out of the way. We are going to now move into the next floor plan view, which is the axonometric view. Okay, so for this axonometric view is very simple. We are going to go to this coordination and we are going to click on 3D view, and we are going to click on 3D here. So you can see this 3D view we're already playing around with. So what we are going to do, we are going to right click, duplicate view with detailing, and we're now going to right click and call this and click on rename and call this 00. Sorry, my mouse is just not connected properly, so let me just try and fix that. We're going to call this 00 ground floor GFL axonometric view, or let me not be lazy, let me just type the full name: ground floor axonometric view. Okay, so we can follow the former nomenclature. So this will be 0206 0206. Yeah, I think that is it. Okay, so now we have renamed this. We're now going to click on this section box we already created. We're going to rotate this to a top view. Then we're going to adjust this section box till it's very close to the building. Very close. Then we're going to rotate it to this front, and we're going to adjust the height. We're going to drag back this depth here to get this. We're also going to adjust this from this side. Then we're going to now drag this till it's about 1.2 meters above the ground floor. So let's say somewhere where this door handle is. Then we're going to click on this corner here to get this axonometric view, so you can see the whole floor plan in 3D. But we're still going to edit the graphics of this. So I'm just going to select this, right click, hide in view by category. Select this level, right click, hide in view by category. Even select the scope box, right click, hide in view by category. Then I'm now going to click on VV, that is visibility graphics. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go under this wall, go to cut pattern, click on this override, click on drop down and change it to solid fill. Click on color, make sure it's black or almost black, then click OK. Click OK. Then the lines, I'm going to click on override, send the line weight to 5 and click OK, apply and OK. Then we're now going to hit GD, that is the graphics display option. We're going to go to smooth line. So this is kind of, some people might even say this presentation, but it's fine. We're going to click on shadow, click on cast shadow, show ambient shadow, go to lighting, click on lighting, increase the sun amount, increase the ambient light and reduce the shadows to 5. Then we're now going to go to click on this insertion lighting and click on sunlight from top to left, click OK. Click on apply and click OK again. So you can see this is looking good. So now I'm going to click on tab to, I think this is fine. I don't think there's any issue here. So you can see the axonometric view. Then what we can do now is just to lock, click on this save and orient and lock in view. So we are not going to be able to shake off this position again. So this is now going to be a solid view. So we are now going to go to this ground floor axonometric. We are going to click on this and drag this. So if there is any special component in this floor plan. We will have still labeled it, but I don't think there's anything special. But you can always come and label it by adding text and specifying what you want to specify, even though you can do more of that in the details. So I'm going to drag this title, view title, to this corner. Click on this and just drag this line here. So this is the axonometric view. So since it's too small, I can click on this and change the scale to scale 1:50. Then drag it to view, and I think it still enters perfectly. Then drag this one to this corner. So now the axonometric view is done and dusted. If you have followed the video up to this point, you should be able to use everything I've taught you to replicate the thing for your first floor. So let's put it as a classwork. So we're expecting you to do the same for your first floor plan, from dimension plan, furniture plan, floor finishes, floor plate, reflector ceiling, and isometric view. Then we're now going to go to the roof plan after I have done it. So I'll give you about a few minutes, then we should be back to come and do the roof plan. Okay, so if you are done with the first floor, you have finished creating all the sheets and creating all the views and placing it, you should now go to your roof plan. Okay, so the roof plan is kind of very simple to do. So you are going to go to this floor plan, site plan, because it's not this roof level that will give you the roof plan you're looking for. Then we're going to click on site, and we're just going to right click and duplicate view with detailing, and we're just going to right click and call this rename, and just rename this and say, call it, let's say 00 roof plan. So after giving it the name, we are going to start hiding things we don't need. So I'm just going to select this floor here, right click, hide in view by element, select this floor, right click, hide in view again by element, select this floor, site floor elements, right click, hide in view by element. Do the same for this parking. For this parking, we can right click and let me just select everything, hold control and select everything I want to select, hide in view by element. Of course, I wasn't going to leave all these view points, so I'm just going to select all these view elements, right click, hide in view by category, so all the stuff will get out of our way. So now we are going to adjust the scale, since this is a roof plan and it has to be consistent with the dimension floor plan, which is 75 1:75. Also, this ground floor reflector ceiling plan, we should also adjust the scale. I just forgot about that, to 1:75. So after adjusting the scale, we are going to go back to this sheet and we're just going to adjust the placement, which is still, it should still fit in. Okay, so we can double click on this view, click on this grid lines, uncheck this from 3D to change it to 2D. Click on this and change all these grid lines to 2D. Then drag this here, since we are not dimensioning anything here. Then go and do the same for this side as well, and just drag this here. So we're going to double click outside the sheet and just drag this view to kind of be balanced. We can use the 4 directional keys on our keyboard to help us get precise movement. So I'm now going to click on this view title and just place it back to position, which I think has solved our issue. So we are going to go back to our roof plan sheet now, and we're going to go and drag this roof plan we just created to this sheet first. So it's still looking kind of big, so we're still going to try and adjust it and see what we can do. So we are going to click on this drop down and change the scale to custom scale and change it to scale 1:75. So this scale 1:75 is much larger than the sheet, so I'm going to double click and I'm going to click on this show crop region. Then I'm going to click on this crop region and crop it close to the building. So I'm going to click on hide crop region, double click outside the sheet and drag this and centralize it here. So I'm just going to click, after I click out, I'm going to click on this view title and I'm going to drag it to this bottom left corner of the sheet. Click on this view and drag this line here just to make it look balanced. So we're going to double click here. So we're going to select these 2 lines here, delete it. We don't need this line. So what we basically need is to indicate this is a concrete slab and this is a roof, which we have now applied the material. So first, let's start with the concrete slab. We're going to select this concrete slab here. We're going to click on edit type. We're going to click on edit material and we're going to edit this concrete. Click on it to edit it. So we are going to assign a foreground pattern on it. So I'm just going to click on this pattern and I'm going to look for concrete. So once we have seen the concrete, we are going to click on OK. Then I was always going to click on OK again. apply, and okay. Then you're going to see the concrete pattern here. We're also going to click on this roof, and we're going to click on edit type. So in this roof, if you have followed any of my modeling course, you should see when I'm modeling monopitch roof, I used to use 2 layers in the roof. So we're basically going to edit the layer of the roofing sheet. So I'm going to click on edit. We are going to see this roofing and click on this. Then we're going to add a pattern to it. So depending on the kind of roof we're going to be using is going to be reflective of the pattern. So if you click on this drop down, let's say we want to use, let's say we want to use, maybe we click on Spanish tiles and we want to use this. We can use this shake under model. We can use this shake 150 and click on OK. So this can serve as a good roofing pattern. So I'm going to click on OK. OK again, apply, and OK. Okay, so if the pattern is too small, we can click on it, still edit it, and edit the scale of that pattern by simply clicking on the material again, click on the pattern, click on edit, then change the import scale to 0.5 and click OK. Okay, okay again, okay, apply. Okay, 0.5 is even a smaller scale, so we are going to do the reverse and make it and change it to 2. Okay, so I think this is much better. So now once we have done this, we are going to go to annotate, and we are going to be putting the roof direction and the angle of inclination. So to do that, we are simply going to go to spot slope, and okay, it's asking us to save the project. Let's do that quickly, and we're just going to do so. This spot slope, we are meant to edit it, so we are going to edit it and change it the way it's showing the information. Okay, so we are going to go to this primary unit, and we're going to click on this format, and we're going to change it to rise over millimeters to degrees, and we're going to click OK, and we're going to click apply and click on OK. So you are just going to see it's going to show that this is going this way at 5 degrees. Okay, it's going down this way. So this direction, some people might not consider it enough, but I feel this is enough information. What we can do now is to click on this, click on edit, and we can edit the text size. So we can change the text size to, let's say, 4 if you want to make it bold, and click on apply, and change maybe the text to maybe Century Gothic or Bebas Newer. So I'm going to click on apply and click on OK. So you can see this text, you can now see the roof direction. So now we are going to start doing some dimensions on this roof plan. Okay, but before we do it, we are going to indicate the underlying wall. Since most of this roof is surrounded by parapet walls, the only underlying wall we are going to be showing is the one behind where the roof is flushing out. So I'm going to go to annotate, click on detail line, and from this grid line alone, you can already know there is a wall underneath this. So we're going to change this to overhead lines, and we're just going to click on this line here to this point here, then click on an offset of 225, since that is the thickness of the wall I use, and just offset this line here. So now we can now start dimensioning. So we're going to be using, similar to the floor plan, we're going to be using layers of dimension. Okay, so we're going to go to annotate, we're now going to go to align. So we're going to start from the roof dimension. So we're going to start from here to this point here, up to this point, and up to this slab here, and up to here, and just dimension this. Then we're now going to go from here up to this underlying wall, up to this point too, up to this point as well, to just get more details here. Then we're going to do the grid to grid dimension. Then we're going to do the overall dimension. Then we can change this overall dimension to dimension 2 to be bigger. So we are going to repeat the same process for all every round this building. So let's start again. Get the roof, get all the edges, get the grid to grid dimension, get the overall dimension of the building, click on escape, click on this dimension and change it to dimension 2. So let's do the same for this. So another thing we are going to do now is we are going to indicate the drainage point for this roof deck. Okay, so this drainage point is important because water will need to leave out somewhere, and you won't want water falling on the walls. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to region. We are going to click on field region, click on this drop down and select look for solid black. So we are just going to use this solid black to indicate a point. So I'm going to draw a line from this corner, maybe offset it by 150. Click on enter. Draw another line 150, click on enter, click on this circle tool here and draw a circle from this point. The radius of the circle should like be 50 millimeter. Then we're just going to delete these lines here. So I'm going to click finish. So after doing this, we're now going to go to detail line and we're going to click on this drop down and change it to 10 lines. Then I'm going to draw a line from here to this point here. Okay, I can draw a line across this circle to get the center point. Then draw a line from here to this point, from here to, or from this corner here to this point, from this point here to this point, then from here to this point. Okay, so this is going to be the drainage of this roof. So now we're now going to start giving some specifications. So for this specification, we're going to click on text. There's already a specification text if you have transferred the templates, so you don't need to start creating a new one. So we're going to now write the type of roof we are going to be using. So let's say we want it to be whether it's long span aluminum roofing sheet you want or Spanish tiles. So we're just going to give the specification for the roof. Okay, so let's say we're now going to use, let's say, terracotta Spanish tiles. Then we're going to now specify the color. Let's say we want the color rust brown, and let's say the size is, okay. So now we're now going to also specify the concrete slab. You can see this dotted line is just helping us align this our text, so it's going to look organized. So we can now specify for this concrete slab. We're now going to call this reinforced concrete roof slab. Then we're now going to click. So now we can now click on this specification text, click on this label here. Then we're now going to drag these arrows here, drag this second one to just get this vertical and horizontal line labeling, which is more organized. Click on the same for this reinforced concrete slab and just do the same here. Okay, so with this, our roof plan has been set. So the next view we are now going to be working on is we are now going to be working on the sections. Okay, so in this project we have not yet picked a section, so we are going to quickly create one. So we are going to go back to this ground floor plan. We are going to click on, maybe go to this dimension plan, and it's always important to know that if you are cutting a section, you should cut it in a part of the building where there are key or vital structural components of that building. So we are going to go to view, we are going to click on section, and we're just going to pick a section and cut through this staircase since it's a vital structural element of this project. So we're just going to pick anywhere and use our visual prowess to make sure that this section is in line with this staircase and just cut through it here up to this point. So this section is not the Revit default section. I've already modified it, so if you want to get it, you know where to do, what to do. So we're going to click on this zigzag icon here to kind of make sure the section is not interfering with the graphics of the project. Then after doing it, our section is ready to edit. So if you double click on this section, or if you go to under this our project browser, we are going to see sections. You are going to see it as section 1. So you can see the section here, you can see all the things it's showing, which is not bad. So we can now right click on rename and call this section AA. Make sure everything is in capital letter. Click on space hyphen AA. Okay, then we can now start working on this section. So now once it comes to section, what we are going to be working with is indicating the structural system of the building, showing the beams and columns, or the structural system, whatever structural system you are using. So all these forces are channeled through those beams and columns, not in many cases the walls, even though they can be structural walls depending on the design choice of the architect or anything, or designer. So if you go to this 3D view, we are going to just use the 3D view to understand what we want to do before we start drawing any lines in the sections. Okay, so looking at this project now, you can see that this project has a lot of walls, windows and stuff. So the beams are going to, let's say this element here, you can see this element here, this wall element here. This wall element can be a beam because this is a vertical, a horizontal structural element. And with this horizontal structural element, if you look at how it flows, it will eventually connect to a vertical structural element to transmit all these loads to the foundation. Okay, so you need to have a good understanding of that to know when you're drawing sections. Okay, so looking at what we did here, if you go back to this ground floor dimension plan, you can see we cut a section from here, and this section from here is not meant to be facing this way. So we are going to adjust this section by moving this section to this point here, then clicking on this direction to move the direction to face this roof towards this side. So if you click on this section now, you are going to see the section I've adjusted, and you can see the line I've taken. This is the part of the staircase we are cutting through. Then you can see the beds, the chair, and this graphics basically. So now the first thing to do is we are going to select this floor here. We are going to right click, hide in view by element. We're also going to select, we're just going to try and select all these floors here because they are not meant to be visible in this section. All these side floors, okay, if you get what I mean. So after we have hidden all of them, we're going to select this reference plane. We're going to right click, hide in view by category. Okay, so after doing this now, we're going to click on this hide crop region and hide the crop region. Then we're going to start with this. So we're going to go to annotate. We're going to click on, okay, we're going to go to architecture. We're now going to click on tag room, and we're going to be tagging these spaces. So we're just going to be tagging them accordingly. So this space now, I think this space we are going to change it to master bedroom, this one on the upper floor. So after we have changed it to the master bedroom, we're now going to start working on the graphical part of this section. So in this, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to click on visibility graphics, and we're going to be changing it to the same wall cut pattern we use for the walls. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to go under this wall row here, under this pattern column. We're going to click on it. Click on this drop down, or click on this three dots to get a better view, and we're just going to search for walls. So after searching for wall, okay, let me just go scroll down. We are going to use this brickwork, and we're going to click on OK, just like we used on the floor plan. All right, so we'll also click on this line override and make sure the line width is at 5 mm. Then we're going to click on OK, click on OK again. All right, so now we have done this. We're also going to click on VV again. We're now going to go under floors. Under these floors, we are going to, although we might actually not need it, but let's just change the cut pattern and look for concrete, and just change it to, okay, I didn't spell it well. So we're just going to select this concrete, click on OK, OK, click on line width, change the line width to 5, click on OK, apply, and click on OK. So now we have edited this graphics work. We're now going to use some max region. So as you can see where this wall ends, and you can see where the other wall starts, which we are still going to cover up all these graphical errors. So, but before we do that, we are now going to make provision for the roof members. So you can see the roof here. We only have a little gap from this roof to this wall here, which is expected, because if you look at this roof plan, if you go back to the roof plan now, you can see this is where the section cut. So it's towards where this roof and this wall are meeting, so you should expect it to be low, which is also fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to annotate. We're going to click on region, click on this drop down and change this to max region. Then we're first going to click on this and change this to wide lines. So wide lines are usually 0.5 mm, so it still matches with this line. So we're going to draw a line from here up to this point here. We're also going to draw another line here, here, and here. So we can do the same here as well and join it with here. So in order for more accuracy now, we can click on, okay, drag it up to this point here, TL. So this TL, we are switching to 10 lines. So now we have outlined where the thick lines will be. We can now click on this line work now, click on this drop down and change this to 10 lines. Then we are going to click on this point here and draw a line from this point up to this point. Then draw another line here and click on escape and draw another line here. So after doing this now, we're going to click on escape, and we're just going to draw this line, drag this line manually till it's almost close to this roofing sheet. Okay, so once it's at this place where the roofing sheet is supposed to be, we're now going to click on offset, and we're going to change this offset to 15 mm. Click on uncheck this copy and offset it downwards just to show the cross section of the roofing sheet. Then I'm going to click on escape, click on this and change it to fine, then click on finish. Then we're now going to see this blank space is created for our roof members. All right, so now we have basically set a lot of the graphics parameter. We are now going to start using the field region to start drafting the details of this section. So I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to set field region. Okay, so after setting field region, now we are going to start doing the concrete work. So I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm just going to select this 01 concrete. Then I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to select wide lines. So we are going to start from the lower side, that is the substructure, and we're going to draw a line encompassing this up to this point. So we're going to impute a value going down vertically at 150. Then we're going to go down again by 300 to indicate the ground beams for this slab. So there are always beams under the slab, and these beams used to actually follow the walls. So in cross section, you're going to see something like this. So we're going to also do it for the same here. So we're now going to indicate the foundation footing. So the foundation footing is dependent on the structural requirement and the site and all that. But now, due to we are just going to make an assumption this is a stable site, so we're going to be putting the foundation footing depth at 900 millimeter. So we're going to draw a line 900 millimeter to this point, delete the line, then draw a horizontal line matching the width of the wall, then draw another line, horizontal line at 225 millimeter extending from that line. Select the line, click on mirror, select the center point and mirror it to this other wing. So we're going to click on detail line again. Make sure this is at wide lines because this is the concrete part of the project we are annotating. So I'm going to put the depth of the foundation slab at 150 millimeter. Okay, so depending on the country in which you are based off, it could be different. So I'm now going to select this profile, click on copy, select this and copy it to this point here. So after doing this, we're now going to go over to this upper floor, this suspended slab. So we are going to basically be doing the same thing. The only thing is we are going to fuse this suspended slab and this staircase. So we're going to draw a line from here up to this point, 150 mm down for the thickness, then 300 mm for the suspended slab beam. So I'm going to draw another line here. Then I'm going to draw another line from this staircase. I'm going to draw a line on the soffit of this stair. Then I'm going to click on trim and extend and trim the soffit of this stair to this line here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this and I'm going to just draw a line to this point, and I'm just going to follow the concrete part of this staircase. So like I said, if you want to learn how to model in Revit, you can check out my full Revit courses. I have a comprehensive tutorials on how to model structures from start to finish, design it to your taste and model it to your satisfaction. So you can get all that for free. Check out my tutorial playlist. You're going to see a lot of videos that could be helpful. So now once we have drafted it up to this point, we'll know that for the suspended floor, we're now going to go higher again. So now we have a door here. So on top of a door is what we call a lintel beam. So this lintel beam is to carry the weight of the structure above the door, so it will not crush the door. So the lintel beam is normally for generic projects like let me hit Control Y. I did Control Z too much. 225 millimeter by 225 millimeter. So the lintel beam is usually at the lintel level, which I created a level for. Okay, so we are going to draw another line here, up here, 225 too, and just form a box here. So since there is no window here, there is no need for a lintel beam there. We're now going to go over here. We are going to draw another lintel beam here, 225 by 225 for this cutting wall. Then we're now going to do the slab beam here. So we're going to be doing a slab beam at 225 by 225 as well, or roof beam, sorry. Then we're going to select this roof beam profile, click on copy, select this point and copy it here, and also copy it here. Okay, then click on escape. So with this, I think we're done with the concrete work, and I'm going to click on finish. So after doing the concrete work now, we're now going to do some wall work. So we're going to be connecting this. We're going to be connecting this footing to this foundation basically. So I'm going to click on region again, but this time I'm going to click on drop down and I'm going to be selecting walls. So I'm going to click on this box tool and I'm going to draw a box from here and join this here. I'm also going to do the same here and join this here. Okay, so we're going to just click on finish, since I think this is the only part I need to do some wall work. Then next one, I'm going to do more foundation components. So we're going to be doing the hardcore. So for the hardcore, we're going to click on region again, click on drop down. I've already created a field region for this. This one I'm stressing that using this my template will be very helpful, and it's going to make your whole working drawing process much faster. So I'm going to click on this box, click on this corner here, and just create a hardcore. So the hardcore is usually compacted boulders, usually 300 millimeter thick. So we are just going to make sure the depth is 300 millimeter. So after doing this, now we are now going to do the laterite. So we are going to click on region again, click on drop down, and we are going to set this laterite. So we are going to be using wide lines here up to here, here too. Draw another set of lines from here, here, and up to this point. Then we're going to change this line from wide lines to invisible lines. Then we're just going to draw from this point here a box here with the invisible line to meet up with this other point here. Then we're going to click on finish. So you're going to see that this laterite is covering all the other things we have done. So what we're going to do, we're just going to click on send to back, and we're going to click on send to the back, and it's going to go backwards, and you're going to see our foundation element. So if you click on TL, you're going to see the thick lines, and you're going to see how everything is coming out well. So now we're now going to go to the roofing element. So for the roofing element, it's not so difficult. It's just some basic principles as I explained before. For this now, we're going to start from the wall plates. So wall plates are basically horizontal elements, structural elements that carry the weight, that transfer the weight of the roof elements to the roof beam and thereby to the columns and to the foundation. Okay, so we're going to start by clicking on detail line. We're going to be using the 10 lines for this. So we're going to draw a line from here up to 75 millimeter. We are going to draw, and we can click on TL to turn on our 10 lines. We are going to draw another line 37.5 from that center. Okay, then draw another line here. So we're now going to draw a line beneath. So 37.5 is half of 75. So we're now going to draw a line 75 just to meet up here, and it's going to create a perfect box. Then we're going to now draw a line forming an X pattern in the middle, then delete the line in the middle. So this is the indication of the cross section of a wooden element. So what we are going to do now is we can select all the lines here, and we can click on group, and we can just call this wall plates, and we're going to click on OK. So after we are done creating this wall plate, we're now simply going to create the tie beam. Okay, so we're going to click on region now, and we're going to be clicking on this drop down, and we're going to be looking for wood. So I'm just going to search for wood, and we're going to use maybe wood 1 or wood 2. So we're just going to place this here. So due to the position of this house section, we will not be able to display all the roof elements. Okay, so I'm just going to draw this up to 150 millimeter and click on enter, and it's going to draw this here. So this is now the tie beam. I'm going to click on finish. So normally, if I was drawing another section from another view, let's say if I go back to just for illustrative views, this for illustrative purpose. If I go back to DPC and I clicked on view and I clicked on section, and I let's say drew a section from this point here. Let me just change the direction to this point here. So what I'll be creating for this kind of section is something like this. So after I, let's say, go to annotate, I use this max region to max out the place for the roof element. Let's say I now change this to wide lines and just start drafting from here. Clicking on offset, 15 here and 15 here, also 15 here. Clicking on finish, then you can see this is the place for our roof. Then let's say we click on this and copy this wall plate here. Okay, so let me just edit something. There's something, let me change these lines to 10 lines. So select this wall plate, click on copy to clipboard. Go to this other section, simply hit Ctrl V, paste this, select it, click on bring to front and send it to the front. Click on move, select the center point, move it to on top of this wall plate. This is just a sample I'm giving. So now I'm going to use this to show you how to create, because in this section we didn't have the opportunity to create the roof element we wanted to create. So let me just use this other section to illustrate it. So we're going to start with the roof beam, with the tie beam, sorry. We're going to click on field region. Then we're going to draw a tie beam here. The tie beam is usually 150 millimeter by 50 millimeter. So we're going to put 150 on the side that is going to bear the load. So if it's extending too much, we can now reduce it. Click on it and just reduce it to this point. Okay, then click finish. So this is actually a small building and a small roof, so things might be a bit tight. So I'm going to click on region again, and I'm going to now be drawing the rafters. So the rafters are what transmit load from the roof sheet itself. After the roof sheet, it transmits loads to the purlines, then the rafter. But we're going to draw the rafter here. Then we're going to click on offset of 50 millimeter. So this offset, after we have drawn a line here, this offset of 50 millimeter is to make provisions for the purlines. So once I offset this, I'm now going to change this offset value to 150. Make sure I check copy. Make sure I check copy. Then offset it again. So trying to create a profile. Then I'm going to draw a line and close the loops at the respective ends. So after doing this now, I'm going to just make sure this doesn't enter in this wall. Then I'm going to click on trim and trim again. Okay. So even at this now, we have created a rafter, but this is tight. So normally the roof members, if there was more provision for space in this roof, I will still create the struts and the truss system. Okay. So now I'm now going to show you the purlines. So the purlines is usually is to go perpendicular to the rafters. So by this perpendicular is now going to form something like a mesh. So this mesh is how load is transferred appropriately through the whole roof members to the beams and the columns and the foundation. So I'm going to click on detail line now, and I'm just going to draw a line from here up to 900 millimeter. So why I'm drawing this at 900 millimeter is because the purlines are usually placed at 900 millimeter center to center, which basically means it's going to be placed at intervals of 900 millimeter. So once I draw a line here, I'm going to click on offset. I'm going to put the offset value at 25 millimeter. So I'll offset from both sides, this side and this side. Then I'm going to delete the initial 900 mm line, delete the center line, click on annotate detail line again, draw a line to this point here, draw another line to this point, then simply draw this cross indicating that we are cutting it. So this roof, you can see that this is just the whole pattern of roof. Even in 3D, this is how it's still going to appear, with the purlines going the opposite way while the rafters are flowing with the slope of the roof. Okay, so now we are going to select all of this, and we're going to click on group, and we're going to call this a purline, and click OK. So now what we can do now is to simply click on this array now, select this, make sure this array is set at linear, make sure it's at second. Then I'm going to select this center point here and put a value of 900 millimeter, click on enter, then put the number of purlines I want. I think about 6 should be appropriate. Then you can see all the purlines. I can delete this last one. Okay, so looking at this now, this is how to create these other roof members, but I was just using this section view to show it, since the main section we worked on in these tutorials doesn't give us that provision to do it. Okay, so now basically we are rounding up on the structural elements of this building. We are going to now do the ceiling noggins and ceiling joist. So this is very simple. We are simply going to click on region first. We are going to select wood. Then we are going to draw a line here up to 600 millimeter. Okay, so we are going to draw it to meet with this rafter here, this tie beam, sorry. Then I'm now going to click on offset and offset 25 millimeter from each side, and delete this line here, delete this middle line, click on this and close this loop. Then I'm going to finish, click on finish. So after that, I'm going to click on detail line. I'm going to draw a line 50 millimeter upwards, 50 millimeter to the left, downwards, and close the loop. Then I'm going to draw an X cross-section line to indicate that is a wooden element going in the opposite direction. So I'm going to select all of them and click on mirror, click on draw axis, select the middle of this longer element. Then while the one I've mirrored is still selected, I'm going to hold Control, select this, hold Control and select the other lines, Then I'm going to click on group and call this ceiling noggins. So after creating this, I'm just going to click on OK. Then I've grouped it together. So now I'm going to select one of them. I'm going to click on array. Make sure this is at linear array and this is set at move to second. Then I'm going to select the center of this point and move it by a value of 600 millimeter. So then I'm now going to put the number of repetitions I want it to repeat at, and I'm going to put, let's say, looking at this with my visual prowess, I was with 10, which I was wrong. So I'm going to put 17 or 18. Okay, I think 17 or 16 was supposed to be correct. So I'm going to delete the last two. So you can see these are ceiling noggins and joints. Okay, so now since this section, I'm going to select this section view. I'm going to hide it in view by element. Okay, so now we're now going to start giving some specifications. Okay, so these specifications, or let's do the dimensions first, do the window tags, and then now do the specifications. So now we are now going to start. So I'm going to go to annotate. So in section, you are typically trying to get the vertical dimension. So that the height of these elements we have indicated. So I'm going to go to annotate. I'm going to go to align. Then I'm going to set it at our regular dimension 1. So I'm going to start from here. So for the first dimension, I'm going to be starting with the major structural element. So we're going to start from this footing here. We're going to start to this natural ground level. Then to this beam here. Then to this slab here, then the same thing for this beam and this slab, then this beam here as well, then the crest of the parapet wall. So we're just going to put this as the first dimension. Then I'm going to draw, extend this cluster dimension. I'm going to click on this point and just bring them out, so it will not be, the information will be clear and crisp. So the next dimension we're going to be doing is basically the overall depth, then the overall height of the major elements here. So we're going to go from this foundation to the NGL, then the height of the DPC, then the height of the first floor, then the height of the ceiling, then the parapet as well. So after doing this, now we're now going to do the level, the height of all the levels, the level dimensions. Okay, then next we're now going to do the same exact thing we did for the other side. We are going to do it on this side too. So I'm going to start. We're also going to dimension this curtain wall here. And dimension this here. We can add some extra dimensions like this one here, highlighting the cantilever. Okay, so now we can now dimension the second layer of dimension, which is the height of some key elements. Then the level dimension. Then finally, we are going to change this to dimension 2 and give an overall dimension of the height of the building. So after doing this now, we are going to click on escape. We are going to click on align again. We are going to change this back to dimension 1. So we are going to be dimensioning the interior. So we are going to be getting the floor deck soffit height. That is basically the headroom height. We're also going to get dimensions like showing the sail height of elements like these windows. Do the same here too. Then do for this staircase. Okay, so at this point now, we're now going to click on TL to activate the tick lines again. Then we can see how this is looking, and I think it's very informative. So now we're going to go to annotate. We're now going to click on tag by category. We're going to make sure we uncheck this leader, and we're going to tag this window, and we're also going to tag this curtain wall here. So after doing this now, we're now going to start doing some specifications. So we're going to specify the details of the foundation, and we're going to specify the details of the roofing structure. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to click on text. We're going to click on specification text and just place this here. So we're going to start with the roofing sheet. Okay, let's put the dimension of the tiles, 150 mm by 250 mm, terracotta, flat terracotta, Spanish tiles, Spanish tile roofing. On. Then we're now going to put a semicolon. Now click on enter. Then we'll now go to the first structural element. Start with the dimension. So now I'm going to put the dimension of the first roofing element. So I'm going to put 50 mm by 50 mm timber pour lines at okay, let me just, so we are going to now hold shift and hit at 900 millimeter center to center, that is C to C. So we're now going to put on, then semicolon again, click on enter. We're now going to put the next roofing element, which is 50 millimeter by 150 millimeter timber rafters. We're now going to put at 1200 millimeter center to center. So these are specifications for timber roofing members, but once it comes to steel roofing members, the specifications are much more concise and different from this. So I'm going to put on semicolon again. Then we're now going to go to the next roof member, which are the struts. We're now going to put the specification 50 millimeter times 150 millimeter timber struts at the same 1.2 millimeter center to center. On, we're now going to put semicolon 50 millimeter by 150 millimeter timber tie beam. So I think these are the tie beams that are the only ones visible in this section, but okay, tie beam, let me spell it correctly, at 1.2 millimeter center to center. And we're now going to click full stop. Then we're now going to click on, okay, we're going to put it on again, put on semicolon, enter, 75 millimeter by 75 millimeter timber wall plate. Okay, click, the wall plate is not placed at center to center, so we're just going to click on type on again and click on semicolon, click enter. Then we're now going to put, so after that, we're now going to put the specification of the roof beam. So we're now going to put the dimension first, 225 millimeter by 225 millimeter. Okay, let me click space. ROC basically means reinforced concrete roof beam. Okay, then we're going to click on full stop. Then I'm going to put enter and click on 50 millimeter by 50 millimeter ceiling noggins at 600 millimeter center to center, C to C. Click enter again and repeat the same value, 50 millimeter by 50 millimeter ceiling joists at the same 600 millimeter center to center. Okay, and we're going to click it. So now this is the specification. So in order not to stress yourself, you can still get a copy of this from the template file. Okay, so I'll just trying to be more detailed in my explanations. So I'm going to click on this label and I'm going to just drag this here, indicating this is the specification of the roof members. So now another mistake we made is that we didn't put this section on sheet. So the reason why I just worked on it is that I assumed it will enter based on the other views we have worked on. So we're going to click on this section AA and we're going to go to where the section is and just drag it to the sheet. So lucky for us, the thing entered perfectly. So we're going to drag this view title down, click on this view and drag this to this point. So now we're going to double click on this and we're going to click on this specification and click on copy. So we're just going to give the foundation specification. So I'm going to click on tab, select this here. Then I'm just going to select everything and click on backspace. So I'm going to start by the slab by 150 millimeter oversight concrete slab on semicolon, 300 millimeter thick, well compacted hardcore on semicolon, well compacted laterite. Okay, click on full stop. So let's just add 150 millimeter thick, so it will just be specific, Okay, so now we're going to just change the direction of this label, so it's going to match the foundation. So with this, I think we have given enough information for this section, and this is looking very good. Okay, so depending on your graphics preference, although this graphics preference is okay, you can tweak some things however you want it, custom to your own choices or the standards of whatever establishment you're working. So now we are done with this section. We're now going to go to the elevations, which is not too far off from what we are doing on this section. Okay, so now what the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure the names we put on our sheet correlate with the name we're going to name the elevations. But this sequence of how I name these sheets, if you have been following from the beginning of the video, is exactly how this elevation arranged. So if you look at this east elevation is the right side view, then this north elevation is the rear view, then the south elevation is the approach view. In the same sequence we name them on the sheet. So we're going to be working on this approach view. Let's first rename them. So I'm going to click on right click, I'm going to click on rename, and I'm just going to, or instead of stressing ourselves, we're going to go to the sheet where we kept the names, right click on the sheet, click on rename, select this name, hit Ctrl C, click OK, go back to this elevation, start from this east, rename, and hit Ctrl V and paste the name. We are going to do the same thing for the next elevation sheet. Select this, Ctrl C, click OK, go back to the view, click on rename, hit Ctrl V again, just the same thing, easy like that. Do the same thing for the approach, select everything, Ctrl C, go back here, right click, click on rename, hit Ctrl V. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for the final one. Right click, rename, select everything, hit Ctrl C, click on OK, then go to the view, rename, Ctrl V. So now we have named this. I think we are going to be using the approach elevation as our guinea pig for this tutorial. So we are going to go to this view first, and we're going to drag in the approach view. Okay, so we are going to make sure it matches the scale of the floor plans and the section, which is scale 1:75, and we're just going to drag it and try and centralize it kind of. Okay, so now we have done this, we're going to double click on this view, and we're going to just hide some things we don't need. So we're going to select this section and this reference plane, right click, hide in view by category. Then I'm going to try and select all these floors on the site. Okay, so what I can do now is to just go to 3Ds first, because this stuff, hiding all of them manually, is kind of getting difficult. So I'm just going to first in this 3D hide all these by category. Then I'm going to try and select all these floor components here. Then after selecting them, I'm just going to click on filter, and okay, I think all of them is selected. Click OK. Then I'm going to click on group and just call this site stuffs, and click on OK. So after I've grouped this now, if I go to any view like this approach view now, the thing is a group, so I'm just going to right click and hide in view by element. Okay, then I'm going to click on this room separator line, and I'm going to right click and hide in view by category. Okay, then I'm now going to select this, or select this scope box, go under this properties panel, click on this view overall and change it to none, then crop it manually. Drag this and crop this to this point, and also crop this to this point here. Also crop this from the top to this point, and crop this for the top to this point, and we're going to click on this hide crop region. So after doing this now, we're going to click on this box here and make sure this is set at fine, so all the details will show. So this elevation is basically the finest part of this project. That's why I want to work on it. Okay, depending on the kind of materials you can apply pattern. So for example, this wall here, I intended it to be a marble wall, so I'm going to click on this and click on edit. Okay, since it's a model in place component, I'm going to click on edit in place, select this, click on this marble, and I'm going to add a graphic pattern. So I'm going to click on pattern, I'm going to scroll down, click on model, and just look for a kind of wavy pattern I'm going to use for it. So if let's say I use this here and click on OK, then I'm now going to change the color. I'll make maybe the color of the pattern very light gray, so it's not going to be too overpowering. So I'm going to click on apply and click on OK. So you can see this material is applied. So I'm going to click on finish. You can see this is giving this more context. So when working on your working drawing or a construction document, you don't need to do any shadows or any, except it's maybe an axonometric view. There's no need for shadows. It just is meant to just depict enough information. So every line is meant to mean something. So we are going to create a baseline for this elevation. So I'm going to go to annotate. I'm going to click on region. Then I'm going to be looking for solid black. So once I click on solid black, I'm just going to draw a line from here up to this point. The line will be 150 millimeters deep, thick. Okay, forming a box. Rather, then I'm going to join it here and click on finish. So we have the base for this. So now we are now going to start doing some dimensioning. Okay, or let's do some tags first. So I'm going to click tags by category. I'm going to make sure this leader is checked off. So I'm going to tag this curtain wall here. I'm going to tag this window here, this one too, this door here, and this window here. Okay, then I'm now going to start giving some annotation. So I'm going to go to align, and I'm going to start by dimensioning the key facade components of this side. Then I'm going to dimension the dimension of the levels. Then I'm now going to give the overall dimension here. So I can even go within this and dimension to elements like this. So we are just going to be seeing some key vertical dimensions. So I'm also going to click on escape, and I'm going to dimension like up to this balcony here. Okay, so you can click on TL to see exactly what you are dimensioning. Okay, so we are going to dimension this as well, dimension this coping too. So we're also going to dimension this section of this building. Going to dimension here. So I'm just avoiding dimensioning the thickness of this ceiling. I don't need it. So we're going to dimension here too, this overall height. Then we're going to give the dimension of the levels. So after doing this, we're now going to give the overall dimension of this elevation. So I'm just going to change this to dimension 2 and dimension the overall height of the building. Okay, so now we have done this. Now we can click on this other dimension and change it to dimension 2 since it's the overall. So we're now going to go into specification. So if I click on TL again, so normally I would edit the graphics of this elevation, but I've already done it before. So if you transfer the template, your own is also going to be set this way. So I'm now going to go to text again, and I'm going to be giving some specifications, especially on the walls, the nature of the materials, the color, and the finishes. Okay, so I'm going to start by creating a specification first. So I'm going to start by material. I'm going to put column. Then I'm going to now call this, let's say, sandcrete block wall, which is mostly the material we're going to be seeing in this. Okay, I didn't spell it well. Let me be just careful. Okay, then I'm going to click on enter. All right, so we're now going to put the finish, and we're going to put a column. Okay, let me just do it again. We're now going to put a finish, then we're going to put a column. Then we're going to call the finish, let's say, stucco white paint, stucco paint. Then we're going to click enter again and put color, put column again. Then maybe the color we can put white or whatever color you want, whether it's beige. So this is just a sample of the specification. So I'm just going to click on this add label, and we're just going to label it here and label this element here. Okay, so this thing is not actually even a wall. This is more of a beam. So I can change this to RC beam. So this is just a good template for this, your specification. So now we have done this, we can click on copy and copy this text here. Okay, then we are going to adjust this and just place this label at this point now. So we are going to put the material as, let's say, sandcrete block wall, and the color, the finish is now going to be, let's say, marble tiles or let's put the dimension of the marble tile. Let's say 300 mm by 600 mm marble tiles. Then the color is now going to be, let's say, ivory pink or ivory brown. Let me just use a more realistic color. Okay, so this is another specification. So we can click on this. If there is no space here, we can copy this to this lower side. Then we can maybe specify the railings next. So I'm now going to specify this railing as tinted glazed railings. Okay, then so after making these specifications, now this our view is ready to place. So we're just going to go to this approach view, and we are going to see how it is. We are just going to adjust this view title here and click on this and just adjust this line here. All right, so now we have placed the elevation on the sheet. So I'm going to give you some time again. So this is going to be another class work. So you're going to set the elevations on your own practice file for all the other elevations. Then you are going to come back to the video. Then we're now going to enter the door schedule. Okay. All right. Now, so we are going to start with the door schedule, window schedule, and we're now finally going to do the curtain wall schedule. So to start schedule, you are going to go to Legends. So we are going to be using Legends for this schedule. So we're first going to right click on new legend. Then we're going to call this 04 door schedule. So after calling this door schedule, we're going to click on OK. Right click again, click on new legend and call this 05 window schedule. Okay, then we're going to click OK as well. So the next one, we're going to right click again and we're finally going to create 06 curtain wall schedule. Okay, so normally all these schedules will have taken more time based on me drafting the schedule table from start to finish, but this is made more simplified with our template file. So we're going to click on file and we're going to open the template file. Then what we are going to do, we're going to go to the template file legend. So let's just look for the legend. So once we have seen the legend, I think it's somewhere here. Okay, so we're simply going to go to this door schedule and we're going to copy everything apart from this legend component. So I'm going to select everything here and select everything here as well. So we're also going to select this text here. We're going to make sure we select every text apart from this legend component. So this legend component we mistakenly selected. I'm just going to hold shift to deselect it. Then I'm now going to click on copy to clipboard to copy this door schedule. Then I'm going to go to file and I'm now going to open our practice file. And I'm now going to go to this door schedule here and I'm simply going to hit Ctrl V to paste it. Okay, so schedules are basically a tabular form showing information pertaining to the doors or windows or curtain walls, basically the components you are displaying or trying to give more information to those components you used in your drawings. So after doing this, we have placed the door schedule template. We're going to go back to our template file now. So once we go back to this template file, we are going to go to the window schedule and we're going to do the same thing. The only thing is we're not going to select the legend component. Then we're going to click on copy to clipboard. We're going to click on file, open our practice templates. Okay, then we're now going to go to window schedule and hit Ctrl V to paste it there. Okay, so this is a very time-saving stuff. So this is going to save you a lot of time, trust me. So finally, we're going to go to file. We're going to go to the template file again. Then we're going to click on the curtain wall schedule and we're going to select it, everything, and hit Ctrl C. Okay, then we're going to go to file again and we're going to go to our practice file. Then I'm now simply going to click on this curtain wall schedule under legends and hit Ctrl V. So now we have this now. We're now going to start from the door schedule. So for this door schedule, we're going to click on our door schedule sheet and we're going to go over to this our own and drag this door schedule into this sheet. So since it enters properly, I'm just going to drag this here. So now and just adjust this here the normal way we did it before, then adjust this view title. So we have the door schedule now. So now we are going to go back to our ground floor furniture plan, and in this ground floor furniture plan we are now going to be making sure of some things. So each of these door, now we are going to make sure that each door we select here is going to be reflective of the name of the door is going to be reflective of the door tag we put it. So this is D1, which I named D1 already. This door is D1, which is good. We're going to click on this door, click on edit, and click on rename and change it to D3 and click OK. And click OK. So we have renamed this door to be D3. So when we are looking for the legend component, we are going to put that. Okay, so we are now going to go to the door now, and we're going to go to this door schedule. So note that before you create a door schedule, you should have finished working on your ground and first floor furniture plan. Okay, all right, so we're going to start from D1, which basically means, so if you remember, if you go back to your ground floor furniture plan, you are going to see we already have a D1 here. So I think the D2 is on the subsequent floor, on the first floor. So if you just check the first floor, if you have done the first floor, you should already have it. So I think this is the D2 here. So that one is not really an issue. So we have D1, D2, and D3. So we have basically 3 types of doors in this project. So we are going to go back to this door schedule. Whether you want to work on it already on the sheet or you want to work on it directly, is still the same thing you get. So we can work on it anyhow. So we are going to now, since we have 3 doors, we are going to select this whole row here and we're going to delete it and delete this here. So since the D3 is usually the widest, we're going to increase this width to about 3 meters here, just to have enough space for it to be able to accommodate the legend component. Okay, so now we're just going to click on modify. We're going to click on this trim extend element and we're just going to trim this here, and basically trim this to fit in. So now, whatever project you're using to practice, I want you to look at this and understand this table. So if you look at this table, we have the title, which shows door schedule. We have a row here showing the tags. So these tags have, each column now gives information of each door. So this D1, D2, and D3. So under each of these D1, there is elevation of D1, plan view of D1, width and height of D1, sill height, which is not practical in a door schedule, okay, which is fine. Description, locations, and the numbers on the ground floor, first floor, and the total number. Okay, so this is basically the information showing on this. So what we are going to do now is we are going to bring in the legend component, the elevation and the plan of this D1, D2, and D3. So to do that, we are going to go to annotate. Under annotate, we are going to click on component, click on legend component. Then we are going to click on this drop down and we are going to search manually for each door. So it's arranged alphabetically. So once you see doors, you can see D1 already. So we are going to click on D1. Okay. So after clicking on D1 now, we are going to click on this view, change it from floor plan to front elevation. Then we are going to place this D1. We're also going to click on this and change this to D2. We are going to place this for the D2. So we're going to click on this. Normally, you will have selected this for D3, but this is not D3 because D3 is not this kind of door, because there are 2 D3s here. So this is because of the template I've worked with. I've created a D3 door before that is not the one we placed and called D3. So we're going to look for that one. So we're still going to be looking for it. I think you still see the name here. So you can see this is the one where this is the D3 we work with. So we're going to place this. Okay, so now after doing this, we are now going to click on a legend component again. Click on this drop down, select legend component. Then we're going to change this from elevation to plan view. So once you click on plan view, we're going to place this here. Then we're going to click on this, change this back to D2, place this plan view, click on this and change it back to D1 and place this. So if you notice, you can notice there are some weird stuff here. You can see that this stuff is looking weird. So we're going to click on it and change this host length to 1.5 and it's going to adjust, not 150, 1.5. Okay, so we're going to do the same here and change this to maybe 1.2. So we're just going to adjust it to fit into the box very well. Okay, so after doing this now, we're now going to dimension all of these doors here. So I'm going to go to annotate. We're going to go to align. We're going to give the overall dimension height and overall width of the door. Do the same. Do the same. Do the same here. Do the same here. Okay, so there's an issue with this door. The door height is not really correlating with what I edited it to be. Maybe it's due to the component of the door. So what we can do is to click on this and change this to fine. Okay, so once we change it to fine, some dimensions will delete, so we're going to click on delete dimension. So I'm going to now do the dimensioning again. Okay, so what I can do now is just to go and fact check the door. So I'm going to go to DPC and I'm going to just click on this door, which is the D3. Click on edit type and make sure the rough height is 2.1 or the height here is 2.1 and click on OK. So after doing this now, we're now going to go back to this door schedule and we're going to double click on this view. So this is now 2.1. Then I can click on this and change this to medium. So after doing this, I'm now going to click on align again and get the width of the door. Okay, so I'm going to do the same here. Get the height, get the width. Do the same here. Get the height, get the width. So after doing this now, we're now going to go to this width and height and make sure this information correlates with what is here. This 900 millimeter width times 2.1 height, yes. 750. This 1.2 by 2.1 height, yes. So this is single swing door, single swing timber, double swing, double swing. So this is not a timber door, so we're going to say double swing high security door. High security. Let me press enter. Click on enter. Steel door. Okay, so you can get to more details on the specification. Then we can now put the locations of this door. So I think predominantly this door is located in the foyer. Okay, so if you want to confirm, you can always go back to your ground floor furniture plan to confirm. This one is at the foyer, this one is at the entrance, so you can do what you have with that information. So I'm going to say location of this D, location of this D2 conveniences, which is true, and location of this D3 entrance. Okay, so in this project now, we are now going to, so we can select the overall, we can get the overall number of doors by in this view. So what we are going to do, we are going to select this door here, right click and highlight select all instances in entire project. Then we're going to click on filter and it's going to show 2. So there are only 2 of these doors. So we're going to do the same here. Click on this, select all instances in entire project. Click on OK. So that means once it shows edit families, it means that there is only one of this door in the project. So it means there is only one here. So we're going to change this to 1. And I think that one is located on the ground floor plan, on the first floor plan. So for this, I think select all instances in entire project, then click on filter. There are 2 of them. Okay. So we're going to just change this to 2. So now once you have done this now, so we're now going to know how many of each of these doors are on the ground floor. So this one, we're just going to go to ground floor. We're going to go to the ground floor furniture plan. And we're going to see that there is only one of this door here and one D3 here. Those are the only 2 doors here. So if you go back, so if you go to more complex project, you need to carry your pen and paper. Then you are going to right click and say select all instances in visible view, not entire project. So it will help you get the number of how many of these doors are in this exact view. Okay, so after you get that information, you maybe write it down, do it for the other type of doors, then come back to this your door schedule and impute the values. So for this now, we have only one of these on the ground floor and we have one on the first floor, making it 2. So this one now, this D2, we have 0 on the ground floor and 1 on the first floor, making it 1. So this one, we have 1 on the ground floor and 1 on the first floor, totaling it 2. So this basically, if you double click, let's just centralize this. So we have basically organized a door schedule for this project. So let's move to window schedule. So for window schedule, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drag in this window schedule into this project here. So after doing this now, the same thing we did for the door schedule, we are going to do it for this window schedule. So let's just centralize this, drag this to this point here. Click out, drag this view title, click on the view, drag this line here. So we're going to double click. So we're going to go back to this ground floor furniture plan, and we're going to look at how many type of windows. So basically in this project we have two types of window, the W1 and the W2, which we will need to make sure the names are correlated. So this one, the name is W1, which is good. So keep that in mind in future while modeling. You name your windows according to your tag, so it will be easy for you to locate them. Okay, so let's just go to the first floor and check. Okay, this one, his name is W2, and this casement plain window. So just try and look at the name of the type of window, so it will be easier for you to look. Okay, so we are going to go back to this window schedule, and we're going to double click it. Then we're just going to delete this row since we're only working with two windows. So I'm going to highlight everything here. Okay, I'm going to highlight from this point and go highlight and go to the right. Okay, then delete this way, and delete this as well. So I'm going to use this trim tool first, then trim this tool at this corner, then click on this trim line single element, select this line and just trim everything here. Okay, so now what we're now going to do is we're now going to bring in the windows. Okay, so we're going to go to annotate, we're going to go to component, click on this drop down, make sure it's legend component, then click on drop down and go to where W is. This is where you find window component. So once you get to where W is, you first see walls, then you now see windows. So we're going to start, we can see this window shock type, this is W1. We're going to change this from plan view. Okay, we can place this plan view first, then click on this and change it to elevation view, front elevation, and place this like this. So we're going to click on this drop down and look for the W2, this casement window W2. Select it, place this elevation view, click on this drop down and place the floor plan view and place it too. So now we can click on this since it's looking weird and adjust the host height to 1.8 or 1.5. Okay, or even 1.2. I think 1.2 should do the trick. So now we're going to go to annotate, we're going to go to align, and we're going to set this as dimension 2. Okay, it's fine. So we're going to just get the height, overall height and overall width of each of these windows. So after doing this, now we're now going to impute the value. Okay, so we're going to impute the value according to what we dimension. So we're going to be putting this width times height. The width is 750 millimeter, so we're going to adjust the value 750 millimeter by 1.8. so we're going to put 1.8 here. Okay, so this is now 600 millimeter by 900 millimeter, 600 millimeter width by 900. Okay, so this sail height is 300. While I'll copy this, so this sail height will now be 1.5 meter. So this is now double panel casement aluminium frame casement. So we're now going to delete this specification, select this one, click on copy it to this point and call this single panel aluminium frame casement window. So the locations, we are going to have to go to our floor plans to confirm. So I'm going to click on this floor plan furniture plan, and for this W1 is predominantly in the living area and the foyer, and if the W2 is obviously in the conveniences for the location. Okay, so we are going to go back to this window schedule and we're going to just make sure we set that. So this one is conveniences, so this one I'll now change it to living area. If we have space, you can put the master bedroom, but it's not too important. So now we are going to get the overall number of these windows by right clicking, select all instances in entire project, filter. We have 12. So we're going to do for this, right click, select all instances in entire project, and we have only one since it's showing edit family, meaning there is only one of them in this project. So we're going to set this at 1. So we already know that in the ground floor there wasn't anyone there, so we have one of them on the first floor. So to get this, the number of this on the ground floor, we are going to go to ground floor furniture plan. So this is what I told you before for how to do it. So we are just going to select one of these, right click, Select all instances in visible view. Remember, invisible view. Click on filter. So we have 7 of this W1 on the ground floor. So we are going to go back to this window schedule, and we're going to input that data. So since we have 7 on the ground floor and we have 12 in total, 12 minus 7 is 5 on the first floor. So you can just get the number on the first floor by that little mathematics. So we're going to hit Ctrl S. Now we are done with the window schedule. So this is now where it becomes a bit tricky. So this is now the curtain wall schedule. So curtain walls don't used to come in legend components like windows and doors. So you will now be asking, how are we going to bring the curtain wall? That is when. So let's start first by copying the curtain wall table. Okay, not copying it, sorry. Okay, we're just going to click on the curtain wall sheet and dragging the curtain wall table to in the curtain wall legend to the sheet curtain wall schedule and drag it here. Okay, so now it's similar to door and window schedule, but it's just bigger. The places for the elevation are bigger. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to elevation, approach elevation now, and we have a curtain wall there. All the elevations where we have curtain wall, we're going to do a call out for the curtain wall. So we're just going to click on view, click on this drop down, click on rectangle, click on escape, click on call out, click on sketch, select this rectangle tool, pick this corner. We can click on TL for more accuracy. Pick this corner here and pick this second corner and click on finish. Then we're going to select this call out, right click, hide it in view by element. So after we have done this, we're now going to click on this call out here, where that the thing will automatically name from the elevation in which we created it. So I'm going to right click, click on rename and call this 000 CW1. Then I'm going to double click on the CW1. I'm going to adjust the scale back to scale 1:100 since it's a curtain wall. So I'm going to right click here, select this legend, right click levels, hide in view by category. Sorry, let me do it again. Select one of the levels, hide in view by category. So after doing this now, I'm now going to click on view templates. I'm going to click on create template and call this CW and click on OK. So you can still see another template I've created, view template I've created before, but I just created one now from this one. So we're now going to go to another elevation. Let's say we go to, I think for the right side, there's another curtain wall here. So I'm going to click on call out. So remember that you should have already created all your elevations properly. So I'm just trying to conserve time as much as possible since this is just me trying to show you how to do it. Not necessarily, I'm not using this project for anything. So I'm going to click on this call out, click on sketch, select this rectangle tool, pick this corner here and pick this other corner here. Then and click on finish. So I'm going to right click, hide this in view by element. So I'm now going to select this view now, right click, click on rename and call this 000 CW2. So it's like the second of this one. Then I'm going to go to view, going to click on view template, apply and simply select this CW and click OK. So you can see how this is looking. Okay, so now what we're going to do is for each of these callouts, we're going to dimension them. So I'm going to go to annotate, I'm going to go to align, and I'm going to set this to dimension 1. So I'm going to start with the overall dimension at one side. I'm also going to now do this dimension from the overall dimension width on, let's say, the bottom. Then I'm going to do this dimension of all this curtain wall, the munions in between up to this point. I'm going to do the same for this upper part. So I'm going to go to CW2 and do the exact same thing. Overall first, overall width too, curtain wall panels, curtain wall munions, and horizontal munions too. So now we have done this now. We're now going to go back to this curtain wall schedule sheet. So remember we have only 2 curtain walls. So I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to select everything here. Select everything in these 2 rows and click on delete. So I'm going to delete these 2. So I'm just going to click on modify. I'm going to click on this trim extend single element. Then I'm going to go just trim it accordingly. Then use this one to just trim it very well. So now I'm going to click on escape, double click outside this sheet and centralize this. So after doing this, I'm just going to select this, click out and select this view title and drag it to this corner. Select this view and drag this line here. So now you can see that this curtain wall schedule is similar to the window schedule. The only difference is that it has a sail height too, but it has the widths are usually bigger, and the description is, I just kept a description of photovoltaic curtain wall panels, curtain walls, so you can get more information and get a detailed specification on the kind of curtain wall you are going to use for your project, so depending on how it is. So now I'm just going to double click. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to double click outside the view. So this is where the main difference between curtain wall schedule and other schedule comes. So now we are not inside the editable interface of this curtain wall schedule, so we are not going to drag in those curtain wall callouts we did from the elevation as an independent view here. Drag this CW1 here and drag this CW2 here. So if you print this sheet, it's going to just appear like this. So I'm going to click on this drop down and change it to no title. Select this, click on this and change it to no title. So after doing this, now we're now going to start imputing the values of the dimension. So we're going to double click on this curtain wall schedule. Now we're going to put the width and the height. So the width of this is 1875. Okay, then the width by 5835 millimeter. Okay, so we're going to do the same for this one. This one, the width is 1500 millimeter by 5850. So after doing this, we're now going to put the location. So this one is located in the living area. So if you are not sure of the location, you can always go back to your furniture plan. Okay, then this one is located in the stairway. So the number is 11 on the ground floor for both of these, and we can delete, or we can change this to 0, 0. Put the total to 1 and 1 here too as well. So after doing this, now we're now going to go over to the sail height. We're going to select these two texts, click on copy, select this line here as a reference point and copy it to this one. So for the sail height, we can just double click outside this view, select this view, now select this curtain wall here, and the sail height is 300. Okay, then we're going to double click here, backspace all this place and put 300 millimeter here. So we're going to double click again, select this one here, and this one, the sail height is also 300, and do the same here. Okay, select this whole text and put 300. Okay, so now this brings us to the end of the schedule. So you can see your curtain wall schedule, you can see your window schedule, and you can see your door schedule. So these are very informative aspects of your working drawing. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is in details. So in working drawing, we need details. That's why we created the staircase details. So for staircase details, we're going to start doing some call outs across the project. So let's start from the floor plan. We're going to go to this dimension plan, ground floor dimension plan. Okay, I don't need this section. Let me just delete it all the way. So I'm now going to click on view. I'm going to click on call out. This time I'm just going to click on rectangle. Then I'm just going to do a call out of this staircase or this stairway. So I'm going to click on this call out here. I'm now going to drag this call out label to somewhere here. So I'm going to right click, override graphics in view by element, and just half tone this call out so it's not going to be too pronounced. So after creating the call out, I'm now going to drag this project browser here, hover around this edge here. Once I see this two-way line, I'm just going to drag it. So I'm just going to double click on this, and I'm going to right click, click on rename, and call this 000 staircase details 01 plan. And this is now going to be the staircase details. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this now, right click, hide in view by category, this section. I'm going to click on this hide crop region, and I'm going to click on this grid around here, and I'm just going to reduce it here. So after doing this, I'm going to go to architecture, and I'm now going to click on tag room. So I'm going to tag this room. Then I can increase the scale or reduce, rather increase the scale to scale 1:50, so it will be more pronounced, or scale 1:30, 25 if possible. But let's just start with scale 1:50 and leave it at that for now. Then I'm going to go to annotate, and I'm going to click on stair path and add a stair path. So I'm now going to dimension this, but for now I'm just going to leave this. I'll still come back to it. So now let's go to this section AA, and we're going to do another call out of this staircase. So I'm going to click on view, I'm going to click on call out, I'm going to click on rectangle. Then I'm just going to pick a point, left click and pick a point from here up to here. Click again. So I'm going to click on this call out and drag this label gizmo down. Right click, override graphics in view by element, and half tone it. Then I'm going to double click on this view now. Click on this hide crop region. Then one thing I'm quickly going to do is I'm going to go to this section AA, and I'm just going to select all these detailed components here. All these field regions we did, those are basically what detailed components are. So I can select this one here, select this one, select up to this. Then after doing this, I'm just going to click on copy to clipboard. Then I'm going to click on paste, align to selected views, and I'm going to paste it at this section AA callout. Okay, and paste it. So now if you go to this section AA callout, which is the staircase callout, we can now put the scale. We are putting our scale at scale 1:50 first. Okay, so I'm now going to right click, click on rename, and call this 000 staircase details 02 plan section. Okay, so I hope this name correlates with the what I named the other one. Yes, I think it correlates. So now this is now the section. Okay, so now we have done this. We're now going to go to the next one. That is, we're going to go to the 3D view. So we're going to go to this ground flags onometric view, and I'm going to right click, duplicate view with detailing. Then I'm going to right click on the duplicated view, click on rename, and call this 000 staircase, just the same nomenclature, staircase details 03 3D view, and click. So now after doing this, now I'm first going to go over here where I locked this view, click on this and unlock the view. Then I'm going to rotate this to the top, click on this reveal hidden element here, then select this section box here. Okay, let me rotate it, select this section box, rotate it back to the top view, then crop it till it's only the section. So we're going to show a bit of the cross section of this staircase. So we're going to crop it to here. Then we're going to rotate it to this 3D format, or rotate it towards this side here. Then we're going to now raise this crop view to somewhere here. So we're going to get a good view of the section. Then I'm going to turn off this reveal hidden element here. And this is our staircase 3D. So now I can now lock this in place, save an orient view, and I can leave the scale as 1:50. So what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to go to this staircase detail sheet, which is currently empty, and I'm going to start bringing all of them together. So I'm going to drag in the plan first, drag this line here to just match this. I'm going to go to this section and drag it, staircase section, and drag it here. Try and make this align here. I can click on TL to turn on my tick lines again, so you're going to be able to see it. Then I'm now going to go to this 3D here, staircase 3D, and drag it here. Okay, so in terms of priority, I think this floor plan should be the one with the most dimensions, so it should be the biggest scale. So we can make this scale bigger than the others. Let's say scale 1:25, and we're just going to adjust the other views to find space within this. Okay, so I can drag this to somewhere here, double click on this section view, drag these grids down, double click outside, and just try and adjust it so we can find space here. Double click on this, click on tab, select these grid lines here, and do the same for this. Okay, then double click outside the view and just adjust it till we utilize all the space in the sheet. Okay, so now this is done. We can now keep this 3D here. I think this 3D being here is fine. Okay, so now this is done. So this space that is going to be left, we are going to use it for the specification. Okay, so we're just going to be adding it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dimension the plan view very well. So I'm going to double click here. I'm going to go to annotate. I'm now going to go to thread number, and I'm going to just add thread number by clicking on the staircase. So now after doing this, we can see the stair path already. The stair path is already there. We have done it. So we're now going to go to annotate. So if you look at this staircase, if you look very closely, let me just click on TL. So if you look at this section now, you're going to see the staircase has a nosing. So it's this nosing that is reflected by this main line on the plan. So this line inside is actually the concrete. Okay, so if you want to get the width of the staircase, you are going to start with that of where the concrete is, the main concrete, which is the inner part. Okay, so we're just going to be doing that here. Okay, so this is the dimension. So we're now going to give another set of dimensions. So that is the overall dimension here to this point here. So we're now going to give the overall here. Okay, so we'll be careful not to add any more reference point. So we're now going to give the dimension for this other wing. So we're going to start with, we're going to start from here, this 900 mm up to this point, here. So this is the landing of the staircase. We're now going to give the overall dimension of this landing. We can also add the dimension of this curtain wall here, which we did it on the ground floor, which is still fine. So we're now going to do that of this. So we're going to do this here too. And the overall here. Okay, so after doing this now, I think we have enough information. So we can still add some other dimensions here. Let's say from here to this point here, up to this point, up to this point. So almost every information someone will be looking for in order to build this staircase is already here. So we're now going to go to the section. We are now going to add some dimensions. So we're going to dimension to this landing here, up to this higher level. We are going to dimension all the risers. Since we have dimensioned the thread at the plan view, so we are going to be giving the dimension including the dimension of the threads, which are like the tiles on top, the finishes on top of the, on the upper part of the walkable part of the staircase. So we're just going to be getting the full. Okay, so now these dimensions are done. I think we have done a great job in the dimension. So we are now going to start the specification. Okay, so we are going to go to annotate. We're going to click on text, and we're going to be using our specification text. So we are going to start by specifying the staircase. So we are going to click and start typing. So we're going to type RC, that is reinforced concrete staircase, stair-case. Then we're going to put column, click on enter, and put riser, put hyphen at riser at 300, riser at 150 millimeter, thread at 300 millimeter, nosing, or we can even specify the material for the nosing. You can say ceramic nosing at 15 millimeter. Okay, then you click off. So this is the specification for the staircase. So it has the information pertaining to the riser and thread dimensions. So you are going to click on this label first, and you are now going to label this staircase here. Then you are now going to click on this second label at this other side, and you are going to also label the 3D, giving this kind of very informative format. So I'm going to click on text again, and I'm going to be placing the next specification. So we're going to specify the railing. So we're just going to say steel railings. Okay, so steel railings. Okay, if you want to specify the banister and banister, is fine, but we can just stick to steel railings for now. Then select this, click on this label, drag it to this side, click on this other one, and just make sure we drag it here. Okay, so if you want to add more specifications like the soffit, you can add it, but I think this is fine for now. Okay, so you can see in this video, I think we have covered pretty much all the basics for an architectural working drawing that you need to be able to recreate your desired project or carry it to the next level in executing it on site. Okay, so we are now going to finally print this. So I'm just going to hit Ctrl P. Okay, let me do it again, Ctrl P. So once you hit Ctrl P, you are going to see the printing interface will come out now. So we are going to make sure we select this selected sheets and view, and make sure we still check this combine multiple sheet. So I'm going to click on select. I'm going to click on multiple, click on this multiple drop down, and I'm going to uncheck 2D and 3D. Then after doing this, I'm going to click on check all first. Okay, so this is assuming you have done everything. So if you have done everything, all these sheets are meant to be complete with all the respective views needed. So you are going to click on edit print order, and you are going to click on sheet number. Okay, we are not going to click on manual order, you are going to click sheet number, so it's going to follow the sheet number. Okay, I'm just going to click select. It's going to ask us, do you want to save this setting for future use? No. I'm going to now click on setup. I'm going to be setting the sheet size at A3, which is the sheet size I use for this template. Click on zoom, make sure this is 100, and I'm just going to make sure this is landscape too, and click OK. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to save it to where I want to save it. So I'm just going to call it WD full course, and I'm just going to save the project, the printout. So let's give it a minute or two, and we're going to check it out. Then we're going to conclude this video. All right, so look at what we are able to print out. So these are all the plan views. So basically, you can see the reflected ceiling plan. I think this is looking nice. So it's also important when you are doing working drawings, you can do a fact check. So even if you convert to PDF, you can still go through it, check for every errors, because this is very important, and you cannot afford to make mistakes, because every mistake will cost you real money. So you can just cross check it and check for errors. So you can see what we did. I think this is looking very nice and informative. All right, so I think this is the end of this video. So if you have been able to follow this full course up to this stage, I'll have to congratulate you. It's not an easy feat. So with that said, I think this should equip you with enough skills to be able to bring out the construction documents, at least from the architectural perspective. Check out our Revit full courses, where we cover comprehensive videos of how to model full-scale projects from start to finish using Autodesk Revit. And with that out of the way, I'm going to wish you good luck. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Also hit the notification bell to get notified when we release new videos. With that said and so on, thank you very much, and I wish you good luck till we meet again in the next video.